Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got to take him in here and nothing respect him.
Live from the Busch Light Studio.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Matt Jones may take it to the house. The dunk.
You said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my heart, dog? Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
They were one Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones.
The Cinderella story is over, man.
Let's go.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Good morning and happy home opener for baseball. Welcome into halftime as well at 11:01. It's a gorgeous day to be at Baum-Walker Stadium. Phil Elson, my partner Matt Jones, in our ESPN headquarters, along with Christian Johnston. Guys, it's cloudy here in northwest Arkansas, but the clouds should part, and in about 4 hours we're going to have our first home baseball game of the year. Got a big weekend here for Razorback sports with gymnastics tonight. There's men's basketball and baseball tomorrow. Baseball wrapping up on Sunday. Big game for Cal's team tomorrow against Mizzou. And good to be with you guys. Enjoyed sitting in studio yesterday. Matt, it's like the first day in 3 days I'm not right next to you, so I miss you already, man. And I'm really not lying to you early, so you can't accuse me of throwing the first lie, the only lie I'll give to you today right there.
Well, it is Friday. We've got some news coming out on the Hill. I'm a Carter Knox fan, and I hope everything goes well. And I think he'll be our starting small forward next year.
Well, yeah, as long as everything recovers just well enough. There's no surprise.
Something was off, right? Just watching him play from this year to last year is like you expect to jump, and it just something was off. It seemed all year.
But whatever happened on Saturday? I mean, he had gotten himself back to where he was on the court on Saturday. But the slip and the fall must have, who knows if this had. I would imagine that if this, whatever about the meniscus was repaired yesterday or the day before, whenever it happened, that it's the slip that either re-aggravated it to where they found it out or caused. Didn't cause the injury, but exacerbated it, made it worse. Because he was on the court, and we might not have looked like we expect him to look. But it's not like I'm trying to throw blame about it or anything. It's just, you lost him in the middle of a game. And you're right, Matt. He hadn't looked anything like, what he looked like about this time last year. So, but that was a question we'd asked even in the last couple of days. Even if he had come back, and, I mean, they've said no timetable for his return. The NCAA tournament starts in a month, so you're not going to get anything from Carter Knox the rest of the season. That's right. That's why you're looking ahead to next year, and in the context of this season,
I'm looking forward.
This hurts. This one hurts.
No, I mean I'm looking forward to this year, no question about it. This team, like I've said, this is a special group of guys, talent wise. Every year it's not going to be this good. You're not going to have this much talent, and it's been a joy to watch this team. What I'm saying is it's tough. You get hurt, you're not a part of it, you kind of slip back a little bit. He's going to need encouragement. He needs the right people in his ear, and it's just a little bit in adversity, and he can bounce back from it. Everybody has a little adversity. I'm a Carter Knox fan, still am. I think he's going to be a dynamite player for us next year. And I hope everything goes well. But as far as this year's team, it is a blow. The thing is, his backup, Billy Richmond, he's turning into just a dynamic player, just a dynamite guy to have out there. Can do a little bit of everything, and so we have a replacement for that. But then now it just cuts our rotation. We're one less guy going in to battle for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's right. There is no backup for Richmond now when it comes right down to it. And who knows what, we still don't know the situation or the severity of Isaiah Seeley's injury, and I'm assuming we'll find something out today on a preseason, pre-game Zoom before this Mizzou game. So I guess that'd be the next question to ask, because if you know you got a rotation of 7 or 8 at the time being, if Seeley is healthy at some point, you can't have a rotation of 7 in March, can you? I mean, this legendary game that took place at Coleman, Matt, on Tuesday. You know, they played their hearts out. Obviously, Darius had this game for the ages. Malik played incredible. So did Richmond. And, you know, we got enough into that game over the last couple of days. But, you know, even with all of that, they still lost to a really good Alabama team. And their coach didn't even think they were deep enough. They had to add a forward back in January. So, you know, it's, you know, you don't want to make any, like, predictions on what's going to happen. This is still a team that's going to be seeded fairly well. But, you know, it's like you're looking at JT Toppin with Texas Tech and how different they are without him. Now, I don't think losing Carter Knox affects Arkansas quite the same way, but these are different teams now without those players. And the committee's also going to, you know, view them differently. You know, you're knowing Knox isn't there, that's, you know, that's part of how the committee, you know, seeds these teams.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen the football committee leave teams completely out when you lose your quarterback. The last guy I remember this happening to that was really dynamic was Kenyon Martin with the Cincinnati Bearcats. If you remember, I want to say it was either the last regular season game of the year or it was in the conference tournament, and then he was out. And they still gave Cincinnati a 1 seed, but it wasn't the number 1 overall seed. So I think you have to take that into, you know, to the advisory board. Yeah, obviously. But we still have a really good group of guys. And if maybe there's lessons learned out of the Alabama game, Phil, like, look, we can't win if you guys foul out. So we have to play defense. We have to have schemes. We're not going to be able to press for 40 minutes. Are we going to be able to trap and do some things off inbound plays defensively? Maybe a little 2-3 matchup zone, which I thought I saw they were switching some things against Bama at times, being able to do that where you don't have to move your legs as much. And I don't mean don't give effort, because that's the thing. It's you still got to give effort, but we're trying to put you in the best place to succeed and for you to have your legs going late. And then it's, hey, run because we're athletic, but let's know when to run. Let's know when you. It's harder to play defense than it is offense. So maybe you slow down on offense a little bit, limit some possessions, because we're very efficient. I mean, A-Cup's very efficient when it comes to scoring the basketball. You limit possession. Now, you give up 76% shooting in any half of a ball game. It's hard.
Didn't that just feel like so much about Tuesday's game is an outlier? Fouling 4 guys out. The fact that it took 50 minutes for that to happen. Darius's performance. Heck, the way Alabama played, Matt, that's an outlier too. You know, maybe I shouldn't worry too much about, you know, the fouling situation, because it did take overtime for any of them, I think, to foul out. And he got the foul situation, so they have to defend a little bit differently. And you know, that's going to be in the back of our mind with every single game that's left.
And the thing is, and a lot of these fouls towards the end of the game or into the shot clock, you get beat, and so you reach, because it's human nature, man. It's you reach a little bit to try, because you don't want to give up an easy bucket, and so then you reach and you get a foul, and so now you've just made the problem worse, and that's the thing. And we had this, what was this, 2-3 years ago with Jordan Walsh when he was a freshman. The Malik Thomas was the first to go, freshman. You know, like, that's how the freshmen, they're just kind of, and you got to get up to the speed of the game. But the thing I said back then was, Jordan Walsh, we can't win if you're on the bench for the last 5 minutes of the game. Malik Thomas, we can't win if you're on the bench the last 5 minutes of the game. That doesn't mean you don't give effort. That means that you got to play better technique. That means that you close out better. You just got to pay attention to your defensive markers a little bit more than you used to, because you pick up that second foul. We can't go sit you on the bench for 6 minutes because we got somebody else to come in. No, we got to have you out there.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it can help you focus a little bit better. You're right. The knowledge that there's one less guy, or maybe even 2 less guys waiting in the wings to substitute in. Not like you want to come out, unless I guess you're Darren Peterson. Maybe makes you focus a little bit better. Here's what we got today on an opening day Friday. with airtime for baseball at 2:30 on most of these stations as Arkansas takes on Xavier for the first of three. I get out at 1:30 to go down to the field and talk with DVH. That'll be right after Neil Atkinson from no, we don't have Neil today. That's right. He's on a vacay. That's what a lot of people in the betting industry will do after the Super Bowl and before March Madness. So it's a little bit of that lull time before the tournament starts. So we'll be open in the third hour as well. James Teague, former Arkansas pitcher and member of the Teague Law Firm, about an hour from now. And after our break, we're getting into more to college basketball with Aaron Torres. So stay with us. This is Halftime.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive hotline at 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive, serving drivers since 1946 and built on a tradition of trust.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Once people tried Taco Bell's new Lutz value menu with 10 decadent items, all $3 or less, including the new mini taco salad, an edible bowl filled with succulent seasoned beef and dressed with a lavish chipotle crema, they started expecting everything to be as Lutz. You're wondering which is the mini taco salad for it, aren't you? Taco Bell's new Lutz value menu, 10 extravagant indulgences, all $3 or less.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and it's just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge, and when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
Does your Razorback closet need an upgrade? The University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you're looking for, only at Roback.com. They've custom designed the best hoodies, polos, and Q-zips for your school. Go check out this and more at Roback.com, and don't forget to use our link for 20% off. Use code RUSH25 at checkout on Roback.com for 20% off your first order. That's RHOBACK.com. 20% off all hoodies, joggers, and more with Rush 25. Roback, where action meets comfort. Well, the game might be over, but the night usually isn't. You're still hanging out, still scrolling, still looking for something fun to do. That's usually where I end up on my bookie. I'll go from sports straight into the casino. Same account, same balance. What I like is it never feels quiet. There's always something happening. Cash drops, tournaments, live dealers. So you're not just playing, you're part of the action. Head to mybookie.ag now and use promo code HOGS, and you'll get a 300% deposit match up to $750, which gives you plenty to play with. Game night, late night, everything in between. MyBookie's always on.
Dad, the driver looks dirty.
You yucky, Daddy.
Hey, don't worry, boys. That's what we do best. At My Dreams Mo Wash, we make homes, businesses, and even big industrial spaces shine like new.
So you can clean houses and big buildings?
That's right. Residential, commercial, or industrial. No job's too big or too small. Call My Dreams Mo Wash today at 479-763-5561 or visit mjmowash.com.
My Junior's Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
David Bowie got more fame with his #1 hit titled Fame. John Lennon co-wrote and sounded some of the high notes. The last line in the first verse sums it up. Fame puts you there where things are hollow. John 12:43 tells us that many people rejected Jesus because they loved the fame of people more than the praise of God. Is it any wonder you get more fame by rejecting the name of Jesus? I'm Pastor E from Woodland. Think about it.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
Tommy Kraft here. When it
Can you? I get this feeling like it all could happen. That's why I'm leaving you for the moment. You for the moment, boy blue. Yeah, you. Fly high on the show. Feeling hot.
Make sure to follow Halftime on X at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Lewis Automotive, serving drivers since 1946 and built on a tradition of trust. Let's get back to the show with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Back here on Halftime as well. We'll head over to the Lewis Automotive Group hotline in just a moment. Matt, I got a couple texts in about, we've seen this with other teams before, even at Arkansas that made the Elite Eight, with a core of either 7 to 8 players. And I appreciate that. The problem with that is the imbalance. The imbalance of this Arkansas team right now is that they're so backcourt heavy that right now, I mean, you can even look at the game on Tuesday, even with 50 minutes and the minutes that they played, 2 of your forwards giving you nothing in some cases, either no rebounds, no points. And if you're down to 7 or 8 players, all 7 or 8 are going to have to contribute. They can't just be invisible on the court. We've got Aaron here with us. AT, I don't know if you just heard what I was saying there, but now that Carter Knox is out indefinitely after his meniscus surgery, the Hogs are down, well, we don't know the situation with Sealy yet, so it could be either 7 or 8 players. And, you know, right now they're not getting much from at least 2 of them, and you can't have that.
Well, are we factoring in Jaden What's-His-Face, who I literally had never heard of? Apparently he's from the town right next to where I live, by the way. That's a little fun fact. No, it's, it was pretty surreal watching the other night. And, you guys are hitting on what I think, outside of Darius Acuff and what a game it was and did the refs screw, whatever, you're hitting on the biggest issue, which is the 3. And I include the 3. I know that Trevin Brazil had a good stat line. Trevin Brazil also, basically played every minute of the game. And then 2, beyond that, he's one of the guys I'm most frustrated with because he has shown an ability to take over games. Just go back to Louisville and Texas Tech and some of the stuff from December. So I think it's safe to say it's an issue. I think it's safe to say it's something that needs to get addressed because this is obviously a season not only with real expectation coming in, but you're good enough, you're national championship capable in a lot of spots, and now you just need to be good enough in other spots, and we know what they are, and as you said, Phil, it's something that absolutely has to be addressed here over the next couple weeks heading into March.
Well, I got to give you a chance to react to Tuesday's game, which is, so today is the best game in college basketball in the SEC this year, maybe across the entire country. Aaron, I'm trying to think of other games, at least regular season games, that are any better than what we saw on display on Tuesday. And really, that's from both sides. Darius Acuff is getting his flowers for obvious reasons. But both teams really deserved a tip of the cap for just an amazingly entertaining basketball game.
Yeah, I said this on my show yesterday, guys, is that, listen, we all know the 3 of us love college basketball, but kind of on a national stage, it's a sport that kind of picks up steam this time of year. But I said it always feels like to me, there's one game in kind of late February, early March, where football's done and, people are kind of trying to look for something to watch at nighttime. And you kind of realize, okay, college basketball is here and it's in the center stage. And, you see people on social media talking about a game that wouldn't normally be talking about it. And that's what I felt like with the Alabama-Arkansas game. It was, an awesome game, a historic performance. double overtime, and it just felt like it kept picking up steam from the perspective of, you just see people that don't normally talk college basketball that were clearly not only watching that game, but really enjoying it as well. And so it was an unbelievable game. Listen, I don't think you guys need me to tell you, it clearly put Darius Acuff on a national stage where they're talking about him on First Take the next day and things of that nature. And so, if you want to call it great branding for Arkansas basketball, sure, but I'm sure obviously everybody would have liked for that game to end with one more basket for Arkansas, 3 more points and a victory.
Yeah, Aaron, it was an amazing game. I guess with Toppin getting hurt, Texas Tech, nobody's going to have them going too far. When you look at Alabama, Arkansas, and man, the game could have went either way. Which one of those two teams do you have going farther in the tournament?
Oh, it's way too early to talk about that. I need to see a bracket. I always say, Matt, for people who are new to kind of my work and what I do, I need to see a bracket. People say, well, can this team make a Final Four? Can that team make It's like, I need to see. And I think the other thing, too, that's really standing out to me is I do think by this time last year, if you remember last year, all 4 number 1 seeds made the Final Four, and it was clear that there was like an upper tier. I don't know that I feel that way. I think about that top 4 to 5 in the Big 12 is really good. I think Michigan is the rightful number 1 team in the country. They play Duke. If they beat Duke this weekend, then probably the question becomes, is everybody playing for second place? But the counter to that is if Duke wins, I think it opens up a conversation about a lot of other things as well. So I think both teams are built. This sport is about guard play. Both teams have elite guards. And I know this is an Arkansas show, but, I'm sure you guys gave plenty of praise to LeBaron Philon as well. When you score 35 points in a double overtime game and nobody's even talking about you, that shows how good of a game it was. And so I think it's too early to start talking about who can go further. I think they can both go further with the right draw.
But both those guards combined for 80 points and 3 turnovers, Aaron. Philon put on a show as well.
Can I say this? And again, we'll go back to LeBaron Philon, whatever, but that was the thing. This is the thing to me about Acuff that blows my mind. And by the way, and you guys know I watch all this stuff, is that I was on this Acuff thing 6 weeks ago of like, this is not normal, okay? But, Matt, you just hit on the most important point. There's 2 things when I watch Acuff that stand out. He gets his points in a super efficient way. I used this example on my show yesterday. But everybody, I remember the year that Trae Young was at Oklahoma, and everybody go, oh, Trae Young scored 41 points. And it'd be like, yeah, I watched the game. He took 38 shots, and his teammates seemed to hate his guts. I'm sorry, it's the truth. You have Darius Acuff getting 49 points.
Most unselfish 49 points I've ever seen.
Yes, 59% shooting from the field. You're not supposed to shoot 60% from the field unless you're 7'2" and dunking everything. And then, Matt, you played this sport at the highest level. To have the ball in your hands for 50 minutes at any level, I don't care if you're the D1 guy playing at a small high school, whatever, 50 minutes with the ball in your hands and 1 turnover. And, I said this yesterday, and I know, the typical who came out and said, you're full of crap. But I said, we're never going to see this again. And people get mad when you say that. Oh, I've seen great point guards before. We will. First of all, Darius Acuff is on pace to become the first freshman to ever lead the SEC in scoring and assists, and he is just doing it in such an efficient way. I'm not saying he's the greatest guard that's ever lived. I'm not saying he should be the number 1 pick. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, in the moment, I think we so often want to disregard what we're seeing as something we've seen before. And with due respect to all of the guys who have come before him, we have never seen anything like what Darius Acuff is doing this year. And I know Arkansas fans are enjoying it. And back to Phil's original question, I think America Darius Acuff is now going to be must-see TV for everyone thanks to that performance the other day.
You said who would come out of the woodwork. I have a guess of who is who. Is it Kentucky fans? Because that's usually who we refer to.
It wasn't Vandy fans. It wasn't Vandy fans that were all worked up when I tweeted that. I can tell you that much. No, and so I have personally tried to stay away from is this Cal's greatest guard ever? Because I don't want to diminish what John Wall did, what whoever, Shea Gill. The fun, crazy part about Shea was he didn't even start for most of his freshman year. So Shea is not the greatest Calipari guard in college ever. But what I did, I'm trying to stay away from that conversation of is he the greatest Cal guard ever? What I am saying is quite literally just look at the stats. We have never had a guard like this as a freshman in the SEC. And I think, and I think we talked about this throughout the season, guys, and I think it's an important lesson for Kentucky or for Arkansas fans too, is that Cal is going to have great players. As long as he's your coach, you will have talented NBA caliber players. But I don't know that he's ever coached a guard like this. And again, I know Arkansas fans appreciate it, but just because Cal's your coach and just because you're bringing in McDonald's All-Americans, every McDonald's All-American isn't built the same. And I just don't think we're ever going to see anything like this again. Not in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. It's just unbelievable what he's doing.
So speaking of you-know-who, it's just funny to watch because, Kentucky goes on this great run with all these comebacks. It includes a win at Bud Walton Arena. They win 3 in a row. And now after back-to-back losses, admittedly, the Georgia loss at Rupp is, I guess, a bad loss. But, I mean, it's like watching I would not want to be Mark Pope. Let's put it in those terms. And it's not because he's a bad coach or a bad guy or anything. It's just riding the waves of – I mean, maybe he's not paying attention to what the fan base says and everything, but I appreciate why Cal wanted to get out of there. I really do.
Well, it's funny because obviously me being in the media, now I'm being accused of, way to pump him up when he's good and drag him down when he's bad. And it's like, well, he did win 9 of 10. He deserves credit for it. But I do think the Georgia game, so 2 things can be true. You had that 9 wins in 10 games. You had a lot of incredible comebacks in those wins, but the counter to that is that you fell down double digits in basically every single game. And so I think that I was more critical than I've been after the Georgia game, because what struck me is at least with this specific team, you just have no idea if they're going to show up ready to play. And they showed up ready to play against Arkansas at Bud Walton, and there's been other moments. But when you're at home against Georgia and it's just a complete no-show, I think the fans have the right to be mad. And the one thing I will say, I think there's this I think 2 things. One, I do think there's this misconception that Kentucky fans expect to win every game. No, they don't expect to win every game, but can you not fall down by 10? Can you have a team that shows up ready to go? And let's use the Arkansas corollary. They haven't been perfect, but there have been games that have been over, with 5 minutes left in the first half and Arkansas is up by 25. They just really haven't had that moment all year for Kentucky. But Phil, to your point, I do think that we can now see that, 1, why Cal wanted to get out, and 2, Cal certainly had his faults at the end. But the other side is worse, and I don't think anybody would say it publicly this second, but I think it's very clear that they very clearly miss, what Cal did for them and where he had them, because even in the quote-unquote bad years, still probably better than what they're getting right now.
Mm-hmm. Aaron, appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on. We'll be talking a lot more basketball next week, and always look forward to your stopovers.
All right, fellas. Have a great afternoon, great evening. We'll talk next week. Thank you.
You got it. It's Aaron Torres with us from the Aaron Torres Sports Podcast, Fox Sports Media, Aaron Torres Media as well. One interesting thing, Matt, about Kentucky right now, they don't have any signees for next year. None. Not one. I mean, they're not the only team in the SEC that doesn't have an incoming freshman. The Hogs have 3, of course. Texas has the most with 4. But Kentucky does not have a freshman signed for next season.
Ooh, man. What's going to happen if, you got Kentucky, Alabama. I mean, you start looking at the SEC. I kind of wonder what SEC team makes it the farthest run. Kentucky does something and doesn't make it past the opening weekend. You think Mark Pope's job would be in jeopardy? Is it that type of sky is falling, or do you think he still gets another year or so?
I would think you'd give him a 3rd year, but I'm also, what are we talking about? Who are we talking about here? They don't react necessarily in the in quite the same way. But I don't think they would cut
because they're not winning the SEC regular season title.
They're not.
They might win. They have a chance to win the SEC tournament. You know, you see what happens in March, but let's say they don't get any silverware. They don't win the SEC tournament, and then they maybe win their opening game, but don't make it to the second weekend. You know what is that punishable?
In Kentucky, yes, it could be. Yeah, I mean, it absolutely could be. If that was the problem with Cal when they got there last year, if they don't get there again, absolutely that could be a problem. By the way, I'm also just looking here that Georgia does not have a signee for next year either. I'm not going to make it through all of these, to not make it so awkward. Arkansas basketball tomorrow at Joe's Grilling Cantina, of course, for a 3 o'clock tip-off. If you get there wearing your Razorback gear, you'll get half-price apps and cheap taps all throughout the basketball game. Get over there today for their happy hour specials from 3 to 6, complimentary chips, homemade salsa made fresh from scratch every day. And you got to be over there for Arkansas basketball for any game. You're wearing your Razorback gear, half-price apps, and cheap taps. Joe's Grilling Cantina. They're across from Harps on 74th in Fort Smith. joesfortsmith.com. We'll open up our Lewis Automotive Group hotline for you now, 877-377-6963. And back right after this break.
Take a shower, brush your teeth.
Unfortunately, this is halftime.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the relief hotline at 800-606-8737. 800-606-8737. 800-606-8737.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Ribs. I want the ribs.
People can get pretty particular about their ribs, and at New Myers Rib Room, they can too. Do you want to join an awesome team and serve mouth-watering championship-level ribs where the best brews and tunes flow? Come to work at New Myers Rib Room in historic downtown Fort Smith at 5th and Garrison. They're hiring new staff. Apply today and be a part of Fort Smith's most vibrant dining experience.
Now I'm here to eat ribs. Lots of ribs.
Looking for a career with a company built to last? At Forsgren, we've been shaping the future of the River Valley since 1936. Nearly 90 years of excellence, innovation, and family-driven leadership. From sidewalks that still stand today to major infrastructure projects across the region, our legacy is built on quality and community. Apply now at goforsgren.com. Join the Forsgren legacy, where your work becomes part of something lasting. Forsgren, building the foundation of the River Valley for 4 generations. Apply now at goforsgren.com.
At Arkansas Oklahoma Gas, we understand that cold weather months are about staying warm, keeping life running smoothly, and focusing on what truly matters. We also know that higher heating bills during this season can create stress, and we're here to help ease that burden. From a variety of payment options designed to fit your needs to assistance programs that provide extra support, our team is dedicated to helping you stay comfortable and worry-free all season long. Our customer care team is just a call away, or you can explore helpful resources online at aogc.com/winter. We're here for you this winter.
10 years ago, True Grit Running Company opened its doors with one simple goal: to help people move better, feel stronger, and find their stride. Today, we're celebrating 10 years of True Grit. Join us all year long for anniversary events, group runs, limited edition gear, and plenty of surprises as we kick off 2026. Whether you're chasing a finish line or just starting your journey, thank you for being part of our story. True Grit Running Company, 10 years strong, built by runners.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 Fort Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
Hey, it's James Teague with the Teague Law Firm. I'm excited to be back on Halftime with Phil and Matt Fridays at 12:15.
It was so close to being enough last year. It was kind of a storybook finish in the making that ended in tragedy if we're dramatizing it.
Outside of talking baseball, I can help with all family law matters, including divorce, custody, and child support. Teague Law Firm can also help with criminal law, such as traffic offenses, DWIs, and more. The Teague Law Firm. If we can't help you, we'll talk baseball.
Hey, Straka, swing it.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
On the corner of Main Street, just trying to keep it in line. Say you wanna move on and you say I'm falling behind. Can you read my mind? My mind.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. Lewis Automotive, serving drivers since 1946 and built on a tradition of trust. Let's get back to the show with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right, we've got the other Eddie, who's called our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Let's get a phone call in here. Other Eddie, how are you today? Thanks for calling.
I'm right here.
Yeah, go for it.
I hated about the real Eddie was about his what's happened to him. He was a great guy. It seemed like. Hey,
yeah, we miss him, man. Every time I drive through Clarksville, I think of him.
I got some. You were asking about stats about Doug Shows yesterday. I think I'm kind of going back to the 22 season, just the SEC games. The ones he's officiated, there's been 16. Arkansas has won 5 and lost 11.
And all right, where do you find those numbers? Where do you find these stats?
Well, you can go back on the Razorback website.
So you went back and looked at all of the box scores and counted it yourself. That's your own research, man. That's impressive.
Well, it didn't take long because it's usually right at the top of the stats, the officials. Now, last year, the Alabama game in 24, it just had the numbers, but all the others, it's got officials and who played and everything else. Another interesting thing, since 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26 seasons, Arkansas has played at Alabama 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and at home just twice.
Yeah, it always seems they're playing at Coleman.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what Truman said about statistics is lies, damn lies, and statistics. So I'll hang up and listen. There, you got that. So
sure, yeah. Well, I also hear that you can twist statistics to mean whatever you want them to mean sometimes. According to Hogstats, and I trust Hogstats' research, just in games that Shows has officiated in SEC play ever at Bud Walton Arena, 33 wins, 12 losses. This has so much to do with where the game is played. I mean, so they've got a worse winning. The opponent has a better winning percentage at home with Shows officiating than Arkansas does in home games with him officiating. But still, they've won 73% of the home games that this official has officiated at Bud Walton Arena, and it's not a small sample. I mean, he's officiated 45 games at Bud Walton. They've won 33 of them. This has everything to do with the venue. That has everything to do with the venue. And it's like you try to figure out, why does the home team get more calls? Well, they just do, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, human nature, the atmosphere. I thought that the game, I mean, we kind of got some calls that went our way a little bit. That Brazil block that they called goaltending on the court, then went and reversed it.
I've never seen that before.
That's what. Not then. Not at that. Not at that. It's for the same price because that was the call on the floor. Was there irrefutable evidence for video evidence? I don't know, but hey, anytime Arkansas gets a call, you always kind of do the Tiger Woods check mark right there when he would be like, "Yeah, I got one," because we don't get a lot of them. So I can't say it's not like when I'm watching the games, I try to watch objectively, but it doesn't seem like we get calls that go our way. But when we get one, you kind of mark it down in the win column. And Phil, we could have won that game for the same price. Malik Ewan missed 2 dunks in the last 20 seconds to tie the game. Like he's a 7-footer. You make dunk.
That has nothing to do with the officiating.
That's what I mean. So we could have won it for the same price.
Yeah, I always try to come to the same conclusion when it comes to a baseball game and umpiring, and the same with football, that officiating is not the reason. I just know it does change the way that the game is played. You get a strike zone that's all over the place, and that's really where the game can change more than anything else. There's some rules interpretations and this and that. You miss a call, but if you miss a call now, well, there's a replay, but you can't replay balls and strikes. And that does change batters' approaches somewhat. It felt like Arkansas had to change their approach a little bit more than Alabama had to change their approach, even though they're playing somewhat similar styles. And you're going to point to, I don't have my box score in front of me from Tuesday, but you point to number of fouls, you point to number of free throws taken, and it's not supposed to be even. There's nothing ever that says that it's supposed to be even. I did think Alabama had, maybe the best way to put it, maybe not like a beneficial whistle, but a beneficial no whistle in some cases. They just got away with some contact that I think Arkansas may have not. But, the fouls at the end, to me, with hand checks and all, that's a matter of guys being on the court for like 35, 40, 45 minutes.
And those were fouls. Those were calls, and they let a lot go. I think, in the words of Stan Van Gundy, the SEC college basketball is more physical than the NBA. They call a lot more fouls like that. Like they let you kind of bang in the SEC in college basketball. It's not as finesse. Once they move up to the next level, a lot of you don't get to just swipe like that, and they'll call a foul on you. So that's just part of it, being tough, being physical. That's why we talk about being an inside presence, being an enforcer. And I think Malik Thomas is a freshman. That's why he fouled out first. He's a freshman. Trevin Brazile didn't foul out first because he's not a freshman. And I love the fact that Brazil's learning how to play defense without fouling, because we can't win this. We can't make a run if we're going to have 4 guys foul out of every game. We can't win without Malik Thomas. We can't win without Trevion Brazile. Those are 2 guys that are part of this nucleus of this Razorback team that if we're going to make a run, we got to have those guys on the court.
You got to have everybody that's available.
When you have 6 guys, 7 guys, yes, you do.
Right now you can only count that you got 6. And of the it's 7. I'm sorry, because for some reason I'm like
Wagner and Seeley.
Yeah, you get Wagner. DJ looks like he's healthy now and is able to get out there and play. At least healthy enough at this point of the season. Seeley is the question mark now. So is it 8 or 7? And no matter what it is, this is the main issue. This would be the same even if you had 9 players. Okay, even if Knox is healthy. And even if you had, one of these guys, as somebody asked about Semedo, who's I think Paulo Semedo is the Frenchman who's like 7 feet tall, and he's one of the 2 7-footers that's sitting because they're redshirting. They're not going to get on the court. But even let's say if one of them did, you have to have something from everybody that plays, especially when you're down to 7. And here's the problem. So Hogball texts in. He says this team no longer is a Final Four team. But I wonder if they were before the surgery for Knox, because he hasn't really been the same player, and he's got something that's special. With Nick Pringle, with Malik Ewan, man, Pringle's in his 5th year of college basketball. Malik Ewan's on his 3rd team in 4 years. These players are what they are. They have to be at whatever their best is for this year, which I don't think is the best that they may have played in previous seasons. With such an imbalance, there's got to be something from them, because you end up with 50 points from Darius Acuff and a loss because you get nothing from the front court. imbalanced teams. The same with baseball sometimes, and comparing sports can be a little bit iffy. But if you get a top-heavy lineup, there's 9 players. If 6 of them are give you good at-bats, but the other 3 are total zeros, and you have a total hole in your lineup, and basically 3 innings a game, you get nothing. Sometimes it has no matter whatsoever what you get from the other guys, because you're getting nothing from a third of your lineup. When 2/5 of your player, well, it's not 2/5 because they're not on the floor at the same time and shouldn't be, but when 2/7 of your roster are giving you nothing, what are you getting from the whole team?
Hopefully you learn from it. That's all I can say. You learn from it. You understand. There's a lot of teaching moments out there. That's the thing.
Is it a matter of learning from it? Is this like, does Cal have to learn from it, of like putting together a roster of like who you're going to get in from the portal next year? Because it's still next year. Your forwards are portal guys. Won't be the same players, but it will be portal guys. You got guards that are coming in just as usual, And if Carter returns, I mean, what is he? He's a 3. You're going to be bringing in a 4 and a 5. If I guess some of these kids that are redshirting, maybe they're looking at, but I would think you're going to be bringing in some veterans who've played basketball that are the same position that Pringle and Ewan are.
You have to. You have to go out and get some bigs that can go. It's where do you allocate your money? Do you want to go get some players that are $50,000 a month players, or do you want to go get $200,000 a month players? And you can get 3 for what? You can get 4 $50,000 a month players, or you can get 1 $200,000. What's the aggregate? What's your WAR? All the stuff that goes into the analytics side of it. What do you want to get? Who are you getting? What kind of team do you want to build? Do you want 2 different lines? Do you want to be able to have 5 run out there and then be able to bring 3 to 5 more guys in and give guys rest? Or do you want to try to get the best 5 players in the world and then you have 1 or 2 subs? And if Peyton Manning gets hurt, if Tom Brady gets hurt, then you're not going to win. And that's what I think Coach Cal does. He's like, give me the 5 best. If one of my guys get hurt, then we're willing to take our chances. And that's what he does. He's not going to change. Coach Cal's not going to all of a sudden, we're not going to have 12 guys next year they're going to play.
Right.
He's going to have 7 to 8 guys, and he's going to go out. And if they get hurt, man, that's part of it. And you're kind of rolling the dice. That's just part of it. I like our squad, even with this group. If you can get a little bit out of the bigs, stay out of foul trouble, rebound, hold your own, you still have the best player on the floor. And basketball comes down to that because we've talked about this. It's not like baseball where you got to wait 8 turns before you get to bat again. You get to take a shot every time you want to. We run the whole offense around you.
I'd give Darius Acuff about 75% of the at-bats for a baseball team that he was playing on. Yeah, I'd put him leading off. He'd be batting 4th. He'd be batting 7th, and I'd have him hitting 9th. So he'd have to hit back-to-back 9th to 1st.
Yeah, well, we'll have a ghost runner, Billy Richmond, to go run for him.
Oh,
yeah.
I'd love the idea of Billy Richmond running the bases.
Yeah.
That dude could steal you a base, and if they could allow you to hit the catcher, run him over, oh.
Dude, Billy Richmond.
He'd be a 3-sport star here at Arkansas. Football, too. Get him in the secondary, right?
I think you talk about like a Steve Atwater. You talk about a Mike Conley Jr. Mike Conley Sr., sorry. He could be. He's that. I don't know if his hips and ass is big enough to be a rush end. Carter Knox would be. That Nwoko from LSU, that dude's a rush end. That dude's could be an All-American tight end, but he doesn't want to play it.
So I was going to ask you. It's like that's how. You watch these games now with the idea of you're watching this season, but you're also watching these games thinking about the 4 and the 5 on that other team. Ooh, well, how are they going to look in a Razorback uniform?
We have callers call in, and I ask them that because I do the same every time I watch a game. Who could start for us? Who would start for them? Like I compare the. I've been looking. Who do we need to get? Who's a guy that we need to get on our squad that can help us win next year? 100%. That number 3 at Auburn, I thought he was nice, but he needs the ball in his hand a lot. I don't know that Coach Cal runs an offense for bigs to get the ball in their hand on the perimeter a lot. Like it's a guard, it's a John Wall, it's Derrick Rose, it's Eric Bledsoe, it's Acuff. He wants the guards to handle the ball. So you got to get bigs that do other things. And so you're trying to, not that they ask me, but yeah, that's part of it.
How about if we get Trevin Brazile to play baseball, play the outfield? I don't think he even needs to leap to rob a home run.
No, I'd have him blocking field goals. I would have had him. I'd have said, hey, man, come out here. All your job to do is to block field goals.
He doesn't even need the running start and jump on top of the nose tackle.
Oh, my goodness.
877-377-6963, our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Back in a moment. We'll wrap up hour number 1.
There's 3 things you're allowed to smell like as a human: deodorant, cologne, or weed.
This is halftime.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Looking for a fence that stands out and stands strong? Call the Fence Man, 479-782-3936. Serving the Fort Smith area for over 40 years, the Fence Man builds custom, one-of-a-kind fences, residential, commercial, and high security. Need automatic gates? The Fence Man does it. Need financing? You got it. 18-month financing is available. Get your free quote today at thefencemanar.com. Or call 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Designed by Jason Christie, the Booyah Finesse Covert Spinnerbait doesn't just bring the fight, it dominates. Choose from 3 blade options: Colorado for maximum thump, Willow for bright flash, and the one the pros won't talk about, the Oklahoma blade. Perfectly balanced for subtle vibration, multiple flash points, and unmatched versatility. The Oklahoma blade is your secret weapon for pressured waters. Precision engineering, tournament proven, and one mission: dominate. Booyah Finesse Covert Spinnerbait, here for one thing.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
Wyatt McIntyre sincerely asks for your vote to be Sebastian County Sheriff. Wyatt is Christian, Republican, and pro-Second Amendment. Wyatt believes in faith, family, and communication to keep people safe. 24 years of law enforcement experience, multiple leadership positions at the Sheriff's Office, currently Police Chief of Mansfield, Arkansas. Has lived in Sebastian County over half his life. Early voting begins February 17th until Election Day on March 3rd.
This is Wyatt McIntyre, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Wyatt McIntyre.
Ace has always been the helpful place, and now we're even more helpful by offering instant savings to Ace Rewards members. Not a member? Just sign up at Metters Lumber Ace Hardware and start saving right at the register. Right now, save $30 on select DeWalt 20-volt max tools or $20 on select Ego outdoor power equipment after instant savings with your Ace Rewards card. Ace, the helpful place. Must be an Ace Rewards member to receive instant savings. Available through the end of the month. See participating stores for details.
We're keeping Arkansas beautiful. Want to lend a hand? Don't be afraid to get them dirty. Every day, volunteers around the state are picking up litter, planting trees and wildflowers, recycling, and more. You know what these volunteers need most? Help. Volunteer today at keeparkansasbeautiful.com. Learn more about all our programs. A message brought to you by the Keep Arkansas Beautiful Commission, this station, and the Arkansas Broadcasters Association.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive hotline at 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive, serving drivers since 1946 and built on a tradition of trust.
On the corner of Main Street, just trying to keep it in line. Say you wanna move on and you say I'm falling behind. Can you read my mind?
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
All right, Arkansas plays Xavier University. I'm pretty sure it's not Xavier University. It's only Xavier. Javier, there you go. I like where
Javier University.
I like where Unit is bringing this today here. Although if that would be a J for Javier, that would be Javier, wouldn't it be that, Matt? For going by the way that halftime pronounces everything.
I just want to know what caliber their musket is.
Well, they are musketeers. There's more than 3 of them, that's for sure. And there were 4 musketeers anyway in the famous story. But 3 would work for baseball's favorite number, which is 3. It's all multiples of 3. I was trying to come up with a Fish City trivia question that has to do with the name Xavier. Can you tell me, there haven't been many professional athletes that have made an all-star team or a Pro Bowl that have the first name Xavier. I need 2 of them. The first person that can text the number, at least 2 Xaviers that have made either a Pro Bowl, Major League All-Star team, or an NBA All-Star game. If you text it into our Lewis Automotive Group hotline at 877-377-6963, you'll get a $25 gift card to Fish City Grill, and you'll also know that you answered one of the most esoteric trivia questions that we've ever had here on ESPN Arkansas. The name Xavier, I think one of them stands out to a lot of people, especially if you remember the movie Singles. But there's 3 others, and these are not household names. So I think I came up with a pretty good one there too, Matt. It may take.
I think I got one.
Yeah, you know one of them. I'm pretty sure you know one of them.
There's one I got right off the bat, and then it's then I think the other one would be I got my 2 would be, I'll tell you, I got one NBA guy and one NFL guy, and so we'll see if I don't want to give it away.
Again, it's 877-377-6963. I need at least 2 of the professional athletes named Xavier, not a middle name, not a last name, first name, who have made an all-star game or team in their league. And we also come back into hour number 2 of halftime right after this.
Stay warm and dry this winter with Byrne and Carhartt winter workwear. Muck, dry shod, and extra tough rubber footwear to keep those toes dry. Winter clearance racks are full of casual and hunting clothing at 50% off. A select group of Western boots now 50% off. Crappie season is coming and fishing gear is arriving daily. Gelco Outdoors. Work, hunt, fish. That's what we do. Gelco Outdoors. 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
We all make plans for the future, but car accidents, break-ins, and unexpected fires can disrupt those plans. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help design insurance plans that work for you and help protect what matters most. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Call Brandon Zimmerman in Barling or call Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith.
Up to $11,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $11,000 off. Or take 5.9% financing for up to 84 months. Lease the all-new 2026 GMC Canyon for as low as $399 a month with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Top CDL Academy is a licensed Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration that provides the federal required training to obtain both Class A and Class B CDL licenses. Our program provides assistance with employment after graduation. We have finance and grant options available. Students straight out of class have started new careers earning $70,000 to $140,000 per year, and training is provided for all 50 states. Call today, 479-632-1050. COP CDL Academy.
Hungry for a deal? Blue Ember Smokehouse is firing up the pits with specials you can't resist all week long in 2026. Kick off the week with Nacho Monday, your choice of slow-smoked pork, chicken, turkey, or brisket piled high with all the fixins. Then keep the party going with Taco Tuesday. Grab brisket, pork, or chicken tacos starting at just $2.99. And that's just the start. Weekly specials can vary, so check your local Blue Ember for all the delicious deals we're serving up. Stop by and see us, or visit blueembersmokehouse.com. Blue Ember Smokehouse. Get smoked.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cole Johnson with River Valley Smile Center. If you're hiding your smile because of chipped, stained, or uneven teeth, or you feel like your smile doesn't reflect how you feel inside, our dental team is here to help. We offer a variety of cosmetic and restorative dental services, from custom veneers to full mouth rehabilitation. We take pride in combining clinical precision with an artistic eye to help you feel confident and comfortable every step of the way. It's time to love your smile again. Call 479-646-0706 or visit rivervalleysmiles.com to set up your consultation. Let's create the smile you've always wanted.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming to you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3.
For your skies, a much colder go of it tonight, mid-30s north and mid-40s south. And then sunny and cool on Friday, high in the upper 50s, mid-60s. And it's our north focus forecast on ESPN.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for wine, specialty beers, and liquor. Located at 12100 Highway 71 South in Fort Smith.
You're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
You said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
Table one Razorback.
It's vintage Matt Jones.
The Cinderella story is over, man. Let's go.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
All right, we do have a winner for our Fish City Trivia Friday. $25 gift card to Fish City Grill in Rogers goes to Edgar in Springdale. He just texted it in to us. And the question was, I needed at least two of the Xaviers who've made various all-star teams. There haven't been many of them. I only found evidence of one basketball player, and then there were two football players that made a Pro Bowl with the first name Xavier. Xavier Rhodes was a Pro Bowl cornerback. He made the Pro Bowl 3 times, was All-Pro once. Xavier McKinney, safety with the Giants and the Packers. Most recently made the last 2 Pro Bowls. And then there is the one that I think everybody, if you were alive in the 80s and the 90s and watched basketball in the NBA, Xavier McDaniel, the X-Man, one of the great nicknames too. And he's the one that I was referring to when it comes to the movie Singles, which is an early 90s rom-com classic. Eddie Vedder is in the movie for a brief moment there, Matt. Kevin Bacon's wife, Kira Sedgwick, in the movie. And he's got a very specific role helping out the male lead to hold out with something specific. It's one of my favorite scenes. And so there you go. Congratulations to Edgar in Springdale for getting the question right. He had the first 2. Release was the first one to get 2 of them to us. And he got Xavier McDaniel and he got Xavier McKinney. I knew Xavier McDaniel. I can't remember everybody that's a Pro Bowler, though. I think Edgar can remember those things, Matt.
That was it. That's the only one I have. Yeah, I was thinking of John McDaniel, so the Xavier McDaniel got me thrown off. I was thinking the defensive end, John McDaniel from the Minnesota Vikings around the same time, and for some reason I thought it was Xavier there too, but I only had one of them as well.
When it comes to baseball, I remember Xavier Scruggs. I remember seeing Xavier Scruggs play in the minor leagues for the Cardinals at Double-A. I know he got to the big leagues with St. Louis, too, and he's on television. Does a pretty good job on MLB Network, but he never made an all-star team. There's never been a baseball player named Xavier.
You got Xander Schauffele in
there you go.
In golf, but then Xavier Liggett, was that the guy? Dow Loggins coached him at South Carolina,
Yeah.
so I watched South Carolina play, but he hadn't made a Pro Bowl yet or anything, but like that's the other one I knew Xavier, but I knew he might have been all conference. He might have been a second team all conference guy or something.
No Major League Baseball player named Xavier has ever made an all-star team. And we had any great players at Arkansas named Xavier in any sport? Nobody comes to mind off the top of my head, but some people have better memories and have been around a little bit more. 877-377-6963, Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Of course, Xavier is in Cincinnati, member of the Big East. And that's where Sean Miller had been coaching before he took over at Texas again.
How many Final Fours is that basketball team? Because it seems like when I was in the 90s, growing up and was really loving college basketball, it seemed like they always were decent. They make a Final Four?
I don't think Xavier's ever gotten to the Final Four.
Yeah.
I seem to remember there may have been an Elite Eight run the first time that Sean Miller was there. He's been there twice. I think there's been an Elite Eight run with him. There it is in 2008. Made an NCAA tournament regional final.
That's the closest they've got, huh? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the closest. But it's been a program that's had some success. Chris Mack was there for a while. Richard Pitino's now the coach at Xavier.
Nice. So him and St. John's, his pops, they might play each other this year, huh?
Well, they did. They already did play each other twice.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Rick is 2-0 against Richard and says he hates coaching against his son.
Yeah, right.
He enjoys rubbing. It's easy to. Well, I was going to say, what's it like around the Thanksgiving table together? Yeah, those guys probably don't eat Thanksgiving meals together ever because you got basketball that time of the year. Xavier and Sorey would be closest. That's right, Preston. You had a Xavier as an Arkansas linebacker for a couple of years there. But that's not Xavier. That's Xavier. Same with Xander.
Yeah, I was off, huh?
But it's fun to say. It's fun. It's fun to have X as your first. Everybody that's got X as their first initial, you should all be X-Man. Every last one of you should be X-Man. That's what made Xavier McDaniel so cool, is that he officially had that nickname, and everybody knew him by that. Even in singles, you dare to diss the X-Man. All right, we got the tuna with us here. 877-377-6963, Lewis Automotive Group hotline when you want to call or text. Charlie, good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, the tuna is a little bit depressed today, guys. A little bit depressed. Not that it's not a beautiful day. Not that I don't love you guys. I do. And it is a beautiful day. But, oh, man, I hated to hear that about Carter Knox.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, not only did I hate to hear that about him, I hate it for this team. And it just goes to show you, Matt, a lot of people are talking about, the number of players, and we're going back to that now, that Cal should have. I believe that, 7 or 8 is good, but, the thing is, obviously if you say, well, if we could get to 10, that would be great. The problem is with the NIL and all that, can you still bring in a Darius Acuff and a Malik Thomas if you add more to that? Phil, what's your thought on that? Because that would be my worry. Look, I know you, and I mean the quality of the portal player that you might bring in. I mean, look, Darius Acuff, we can say what we want to say. He may be a freshman, but when he's on the court, most of the time he's the best player out there right now. Now, did we know that before the season? Maybe not, but I don't know. It's tough when you lose a guy like that. It almost gave me a real big gut punch, Phil, because it made me think about, the future of this season. And it's almost like now I almost feel, it's going to come down to matchups for Arkansas in the tournament more so than anything. And if they can make a run at this. And what I worry about more than anything, and Matt, you can speak on this, the spacing now for the team. You think about floor spacing, obviously, when you got a lineup out there with Acuff, Thomas, TB, and now, no offense to Billy Richmond, but I'm not guarding him right now. I'm sagging off of him. And, hey, if he beats me from the outside, so be it. And guess what? Guess who else is struggling? DJ's been hurt, and he's not making his shot right now. So I'm not playing him either. I'm not guarding him. If he wants to shoot, go right ahead, DJ Wagner, until you can prove me, otherwise. And I think what we're about to see is Malik Thomas and Darius Acuff. There's fixing to be teams that are just going to trap them, double them. Because right now, guys, I don't know. I don't know what's up with DJ. I don't know if he's lost his confidence, but yeah, losing Carter sucks because of what all he can do, not just shooting from the outside, but I don't know. It really did hurt. Phil, I'm excited about the baseball team, and the series this weekend. I'm not giving up on basketball. It stings, man. It really does. I don't mean to sound depressed or anything.
Yeah, but you warned us you were going to sound depressed. You told us you were depressed, and I knew immediately what you were going to get on there too, because because there were such high expectations for Carter, and that was one of the reasons why you have such high expectations for this year's team. That was even before anybody ever watched a minute of Darius Acuff or Malik Thomas.
Absolutely.
You know, you knew you had Billy coming back, you knew you had Trevin coming back, you knew you had Carter coming back. And, man, you felt really good about it. And look how Billy's grown. You know, I mean, Brazil, I think, has been a better version this year of himself, too. And now one of the main reasons why you were fired up about it almost a year ago was because – and he's not going to be out there any longer.
No. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, good to hear from you, Charlie. Thank you. 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive Group Hotline. Is there anything you can say there that can cheer Charlie up, Matt? Because I hate when the tuna is depressed.
We got a couple other phone callers. They might be able to cheer him up. The thing I would say is there's still a lot of talent on this team. There's things happen, adversity happens, injuries happen, fouls happen. I think Coach Cal's a really good teacher. You know, he's able to teach these kids lessons. And so what he's going to be able to do, go back and you watch the tape. I don't know how much of the tape they watch, or if they break it up, if they just watch certain bits, but this is what we can't do. This is what we got to have more of. And you just keep feeding them. We can't do this. You can't get beat and then reach because we don't have a sub for you. First of all, you can't get beat. So, but let's don't expound the problem. And then, hey, let's also remember these kids did a lot of really good things against Alabama. Go in the road, Alabama. That's why I asked Aaron, who do you think can make a better run? He didn't have an answer because they're both teams can make the same run. Mm-hmm. Like both teams are equal. I think that game could have went. That game could have went either way.
Yeah, I mean, I try to watch that game with that mindset of, be entertained by the game. Grand statements about it a little bit difficult to come by because that game's an outlier in so many ways. And just the fact that they competed and had chances to win, didn't win, but had chances to win. You know, the thing I want to feel is like, well, when you got a chance to win the next time in a game that's somewhat similar to it, that Ewan won't miss the dunk, or the alley-oop does go down at the end.
DJ Wagner makes that wide open three.
Right.
Coach Cal doesn't call a timeout. Malik Thomas makes that three. There's a lot going on. That's what I mean. That game for the same price could have been ours. So I don't. And we fought. We gave effort. We played for our teammates. And AT agreed with me with this. And the very first thing I said it's the most unselfish 49 points I've ever seen in a basketball game. Acuff wasn't a chucker. He wasn't just shooting hard shot. Not that he didn't shoot hard, but he made if his teammate was open, he trusts that man. Phil, that goes such a long ways. There's nothing worse than a high volume point guard that doesn't pass the ball. That's the word. I can't play. I don't even want to be on the court with. That's not Acuff. He looks for the open. If you're open, he's going to get you the rock, and we can live. If we lose games because we miss open jump shots, then we just aren't good enough.
That's good point. That's right. So I'm going to start having faith that those last moment shots are going to end up going down. The Arkansas baseball team is about ready for their pregame workout with first pitch 3 o'clock. That means I got to put this window all the way down so that you're not listening to the music all throughout the rest of the show. Speaking of baseball, we got James Teague from the Teague Law Firm joining halftime right after this.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Hotline at 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive, serving drivers since 1946 and built on a tradition of trust.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch, big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Once people tried Taco Bell's new Lux value menu with 10 decadent items, all $3 or less, including the new mini taco salad, an edible bowl filled with succulent seasoned beef and dressed with a lavish chipotle crema, they started expecting everything to be as Lux. You're wondering which is the mini taco salad for, aren't you? Taco Bell's new Lux value menu, 10 extravagant indulgences, all $3 or less.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge, and when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
Does your Razorback closet need an upgrade? The University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you're looking for, only at Roback.com. They've custom designed the best hoodies, polos, and Q-zips for your school. Go check out this and more at Roback.com, and don't forget to use our link for 20% off. Use code RUSH25 at checkout on Roback.com for 20% off your first order. That's RHOBACK.com. 20% off all hoodies, joggers, and more with Rush 25. Roback, where action meets comfort. Well, the game might be over, but the night usually isn't. You're still hanging out, still scrolling, still looking for something fun to do. That's usually where I end up on my bookie. I'll go from sports straight into the casino. Same account, same balance. What I like is it never feels quiet. There's always something happening. Cash drops, tournaments, live dealers. So you're not just playing, you're part of the action. Head to mybookie.ag now and use promo code HOGS, and you'll get a 300% deposit match up to $750, which gives you plenty to play with. Game night, late night, everything in between. MyBookie's always on.
Dad, the driver looks dirty. You yucky, Daddy.
Hey, don't worry, boys. That's what we do best. At My Dreams Mo Wash, we make homes, businesses, and even big industrial spaces shine like new.
So you can clean houses and big buildings?
That's right. Residential, commercial, or industrial. No job's too big or too small. Call My Dreams Mo Wash today at 479-763-5561 or visit mjmowash.com.
My Junior's Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
David Bowie got more fame with his #1 hit titled Fame. John Lennon co-wrote and sounded some of the high notes. The last line in the first verse sums it up. Fame puts you there where things are hollow. John 12:43 tells us that many people rejected Jesus because they loved the fame of people more than the praise of God. Is it any wonder you get more fame by rejecting the name of Jesus? I'm Pastor E from Woodland. Think about it.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Lewis Automotive, serving drivers since 1946 and built on a tradition of trust. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
The signs are all there for just about all of your different senses. Nobody's tasted anything just yet here at Baumwalker Stadium, but the air smells like grass. It certainly is gorgeous outside. The sounds of batting practice will be coming forth shortly. Long line out there on Razorback Road for the hog pen, so yeah, all the signs are right there. We've got former Arkansas pitcher James Teague with us, member of the Teague Law Firm, and always appreciate James joining us here for a fourth season on Halftime. The thing is, James, this is like the first day for a lot of people to show up at Baum, but for these guys, man, I mean, this is all they know, basically. I mean, they go to class, I know that, but they don't have to go up to campus for anything else. You know, you got everything you need right here at Baum Walker, so I'm sure it doesn't feel just like another day for them, but yeah, they already know what it all smells like here and what it looks like.
Oh yeah, I mean they got a world-class locker room. They got all the amenities and facilities, food ready. I mean, this is like another day in their world. But now, you know, the results are coming knocking. You know, we got all the amenities and you got all the hype, and now it's time to show up and go play.
Hey, you know, there was the situation with Alabama basketball recently, and Charles Bediako and Nate Oates was talking about how athletes are taken care of better in college now than and you know, we say the pros. Well, I think we're talking more about the minor leagues, just in terms of available food for them. You know, Bediako, I guess, lost some weight playing in the G League. Better facilities, more available athletic trainers in a lot of cases, and hospital facilities if needed. Did you feel that when you went to pitch in the minor leagues, that there was just maybe a different level of care that you got while at Arkansas compared to the pros?
Oh yeah, I mean it was night and day. There was no doubt. And the biggest thing is there was so much bus travel, and so much of that bus travel was so late at night. You know, you finish a night game. Well, there is no stay in the night at where you are before you go to the next place. You're hopping on the bus right after the game, and you got, you know, maybe on the East Coast, you got 4, 5, 6 hour drive. You know, you may not get to the hotel till 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning. And, you know, of course, you can sleep in. You don't got to be at the field until maybe 3 or so, but, you know, it just wears on you, all the bus travel and all the late nights and having kind of disruptive schedule. Just over time, it's tough.
I did it in reverse, James. I mean, you know, I worked in the minors for a long time before joining the Razorback broadcast. So I rode the buses first, and then I got on the charter flights, and it's like, yeah, over my dead body am I going back to bus travel. You did it the other way around, man.
Yeah, it's worse the other way around, because once you have a taste of it, you're a little bit spoiled. It's hard to be on the other side of it. You almost need to go through the grunt minor league style first and then graduate to the Arkansas lifestyle, but it doesn't work out that way, I guess.
Well, it's cramped. It's also, you know, like after a game, I know you showered and everything, at least most of the guys did. The broadcaster doesn't get an opportunity to shower on getaway day, but that's neither here nor there. It's cramped. Like, I could fall asleep on the bus, James, because I can sleep anywhere. I can sleep in a radio booth, you know, for 30 seconds if I need to. But not everybody can sleep on a bus, and that's, you know, the positions you end up falling asleep in sometimes. Was that a problem for you? Because I know a lot of ball players, they would just be awake for the entire ride because they just could never fall asleep, and that just was miserable.
Well, there was a hierarchy on some of these buses because there was sleeper spots. So it's like, you know, who gets the lay-down sleeper spot? You can imagine it's kind of like where you put the luggage in an airplane. There would be beds there. Well, the position players always thought they were high and mighty and they deserved, you know, the cream of the crop. And then it was the next day starter, then it was a bullpen guy. Well, if you're an average bullpen guy and you don't know when you're going to throw, you're kind of at the bottom of the totem pole as far as getting one of those sleeper spots. And so I typically would just save my energy and not argue over it. I'd end up on the floor. But, you know, God knows what you find on the floor of those buses, so that was a whole other ordeal.
Spring training is starting. I think there might be some games today, actually, too, which means I think they used automatic ball strike for some spring training games last year. They already did in the minors, but now got the challenge system that's going to be debuted in Major League Baseball. I wonder if at some point it's on the way to college baseball. But this challenge system, you know, and it's two wrong challenges, and then you run out of them, James. But those two challenges can really change the way that a game ends up being played, just because the strike zone dictates so much about a batter's comfort, where a pitcher thinks he can go get strikes. I just wonder, with this challenge system, how do you think it changes the game for pitchers specifically?
I think you would like to think that it averages out. They're going to miss some and they're going to give you some, but I think the dynamic, especially for starting pitchers, is establishing a way. It's not so much are they going to give me away, but in a college game, am I going to get a ball or am I going to get two balls? I don't think a lot of college umps are hold guys, to the black. And so, game to game, I think the starters, the guys who have a bit better command and know where they're throwing it, part of it's finding, am I getting in? Am I getting out? Am I getting up? And then playing off of that, that dynamic kind of goes away with the automatic strike zone.
Do you think we're going to get some of the changes in college ball that the professional players deal with? And it makes it a different sport. I mean, it's still 3 strikes and 9 innings and 4 balls and score more run than the opponent and you win. But, when you can only make 2 pickoff throws and you can make as many as you want in college, you're playing a different game. When you can line up your fielders however you want to in college, but you can't in professional baseball, you're playing a different game. When you put a runner at second base in the 10th inning when he didn't deserve to get there in the pros, you're playing a different game than we are in college. I mean, it is a different sport, James, isn't it?
I think to some degree, but over time, I think whatever level you're at will just adapt to what those rules are. Instead of picking off a third time, maybe now you see more pitch outs. And then if you're, I hated pitch outs because I had a hard enough time throwing over the plate. I don't want to give up a ball hoping that he may be stealing. There's nothing worse than, I can't pick off, so I do a pitch out, and then he's not stealing, and now I'm behind in the count. That's pretty frustrating. But I think the players will adapt, coaches will adapt, and whatever system they're in, it'll just be what it is.
So just looking at the numbers from this last weekend from the pitching staff, I don't think there's anything to argue about. 157 batting average allowed. They gave up 13 runs in 36 innings, less than 1 base runner per inning for the whip. People are a little worried about how Hunter Dietz pitched, but I think he got squeezed. Some folks are worried about the back of the bullpen with the way that Sunday went down. What'd you think from what you might have seen or heard or what you know about from the pitching from this last weekend?
Well, I think Friday, opening was stellar. If you look at Dietz's stat line, the stat line doesn't always tell the story. With him getting squeezed a little, I would agree. But he still struck out 5 guys in 2 innings. And so the stuff is obviously there to compete. And it may just be, like we talked about before, some of those opening day jitters just not being quite as sharp. It's not, if you are getting squeezed a little, you can adjust off of that. Now, if the ball's going everywhere, hitting guys in the head, backstop, a lot of spikes, that's one of the things that the stat line doesn't tell us. How big are those misses? I think that he'll bounce back. And then same with the back of the bullpen. Where you think you're going to be back to the bullpen at the beginning of the year isn't always where you end. It's about, who can show up when the lights are on, and that's going to take some time. So I'm not worried at all. Really impressed Friday. Thought we saw some good things on Game 3, and let's just see how the guys do. Let's see how they adjust as the games continue.
Well, a lot for some of these in the era of the transfer portal. Certainly there's some guys who chose to come to Arkansas for whatever reason, whether it's the coaching, whether they got a certain offer that might have stood out for them. But I also think that some guys, maybe this isn't the deciding factor, but they know when they're coming here that they're going to be in the kind of atmosphere that stands out in college baseball. I think of somebody like Damian Ruiz, somebody like Micah New. These are in some cases either their 4th or 5th year playing college baseball, and they've never been in front of the kind of crowd that they will see today, even just the first game that they play here. And it's still the same game they've played for their entire lives, James. But when you play in front of that kind of crowd, and the crowd at Baum, look, it stands out. There's something different about a Baum Walker crowd, even different from a major league crowd. And I love to watch the reaction that these guys have from playing in front of them, and then seeing what it's like for them this year. Because I think they really, I think it's a small reason, but it is a reason why they come here.
Yeah, I think intuitively in a lot of sports, that's why you see so many non-conference games at the start of the year. I mean, it would be, I think, hard on everybody with new environment, new players, finding your team, finding your rhythm to go straight into a really difficult conference setup. And so, I mean, to me, the non-conference at the start of the year is just a trial period. Do those guys see the lights and wither away, or do they see the lights and shine? And then same with the bullpen, same with the defense, with everything. And so I say it every year. I don't get real worked up this time of year because, it's early, it's cold, guys are adjusting. Let's not go too high or too low. We don't want the players to get too high or too low. Let's do the same as fans, and then just know that come conference time, we better have a lineup who's ready to compete.
Hey, last thing. I don't know if you ever see on social media. You ever see Pitching Ninja? Some of the stuff that he puts out.
Yeah.
Did you see Nate Thompson had sent this to me, and I showed it to Matt the other day. Did you see the overlay of the 4 pitches from Paul Skeens and the 4 different movements coming out of the very same arm slot? And it's incredible to see just 4 totally different movements from that same slot. Did you see this?
So my screen time was getting a little too high, so I deleted Instagram off my phone so I wouldn't be tempted. So I have not seen a lot of the more recent Ninja stuff, but I would imagine. I've seen him throw. You just got a monster of a body coming at you, and you've got 4 pitches that are all plus, doing all different things. I can envision what you're saying without seeing it, and just know if you're a hitter, good luck.
Yeah, and you had a great arm too, James. I knew you threw triple digits, but it's like you watch somebody like that, and you're watching an alien, really.
Yeah, it's one thing to throw it hard a couple times. It's another thing to throw it hard for 8 innings and to mix your pitches and to command them all. It's just a different animal.
Well, James will join us throughout the rest of the baseball season every Friday here. And, of course, James is also a member of the Teague Law Firm. And he always stays put here on Halftime. And with the Teague Law Firm, families sometimes have disputes, James, of course, just like baseball teams. And the Teague Law Firm does specialize in family law, things like guardianships, adoption, child support, of course.
Yeah, we're still plugging away on the family law side, and there's a new dynamic we're seeing as, people run into issues and they think, well, I'm going to go straight to ChatGPT or AI or Gronk or whatever it may be, and, what would a judge do? And the more I see it, the more I see that it can be misleading or that it doesn't tell the whole story, and a lot of times we meet with people and they say, here's my problem, and I would say, well, you kind of think that's your problem, but your case is really about this, and here's why, and there's so many caveats and special circumstances in family law that we deal with, and a lot of misconceptions, frankly. And so a lot of our appointments are about sitting down, looking at people's individual circumstance, and then laying out a plan, laying out, what I think will happen, what I think a judge will do, and the path we need to take to resolve it. And there's more confusion today than there's ever been, and so there's no better time to sit down and talk through whatever issues you may be having.
You can call James at the Teague Law Firm at 479-877-1688. That's 479-877-1688. And get a look at their new office at 4201 West New Hope Road in Rogers. Always online at Teague-Law.com. And you will talk to actual lawyers of the Teague Law Firm. They will call you back. Of course, this time of the year, James, what do you like to say?
If we can't help you, we'll talk baseball.
They will do that. The Teague Law Firm. Again, it's 479-877-1688. James, we'll talk baseball again next week. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Phil. Thanks.
Stay with us. We're back with more Halftime in just a moment.
I'm tired of saying could have, should have, would have. That's why we ain't good enough yet. Because we're saying could have and they ain't.
This is Halftime.
Superstars Joe Klein and Pat Bradley for Arkansas's #1 sports app, Bet Saracen.
Joe, you know the main difference between Bet Saracen and those other guys?
Definitely easier to navigate. Always good parlays. Plus lots of fun choices, like ping pong, right there on the app.
But the real difference are those special promos.
Get $250 on us with your first $25 wager.
Gambling problem? Call 800-GAMBLER.
Pete's back on the links with all new golf clubs and hopefully less swearing.
Dang, sliced it.
He worked with Empower to help him get good at money, so he can be a little bad.
Heads up!
Oof. Talent sold separately.
Guy said these were slice-proof.
At least he has money for lessons. Invest well, live a little. Start today at Empower.com.
Odds are running them out.
This is Halftime.
Hey everyone, Josh Earnhardt here at AAA Business Systems in Northwest Arkansas. Do you like doing business with local companies? Did you know that AAA Business Systems is one of only a few truly local office technology providers in Northwest Arkansas? Ask your current technology provider where their corporate office is, and let's keep your money in Northwest Arkansas. Buy local, support local. Call us today at 479-442-4185, and remember, anything else is just a copy.
Save up to $4,000 on select Buick Enclaves at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. That's $4,000 off and 4.9% financing for up to 84 months on this luxurious third-row SUV. Or drive the brand-new Buick Envista, a stylish crossover, for as low as $399 per month. These are limited-time offers. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith, or online at harryrobinson.com.
Contractors, you know the right equipment makes all the difference. That's why you choose LG HVAC Systems. Innovative, efficient, and built to perform. And at J&B Supply, we're more than just a supplier. Since 1968, our family-owned business has provided HVAC and plumbing pros with the products, expert service, and hands-on training to get the job done right. Check out the buzz around LG's new game-changing equipment today. For over 50 years, HVAC and plumbing pros have trusted J&B Supply in Fort Smith, Springdale, and Bentonville. J&B Supply, where the professionals go.
Since 1992, the Inn at the Mill has welcomed guests to experience the most unique place to stay when visiting Northwest Arkansas. Centrally located at the Johnson exit off I-49, the Inn at the Mill has established a rich tradition of comfort, convenience, and value. Whether it's the big game, business travel, a trip to Crystal Bridges, or a weekend getaway that brings you to Northwest Arkansas, the Inn at the Mill has a spacious room with ample space to spread out. And when I'm there on business, I appreciate the fast, free internet to keep me connected to work, and the laid-back European-style breakfast to start the day. Experience unique and different at the Inn at the Mill, just off I-49 at the Johnson exit. Call 479-443-1800 to make your reservation. That's 479-443-1800, or visit innatthemill.com. The Inn at the Mill, where the past meets the present. Valley Family Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, same-day crowns, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients a better life with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farms. Let them know you heard this on ESPN Radio and receive $300 off a snore guard. Valley Family Dental, 479-226-3500 for an appointment, or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Lewis Automotive, serving drivers since 1946 and built on a tradition of trust. Now let's get back to halftime with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Arkansas football legend Matt Jones.
Good thing I can report to you here is I'm watching infield for Arkansas for a 3 o'clock baseball game against Xavier. Nolan Souza's taking ground balls at shortstop. Looks fine. He's made some throws. So shoulders recovering. They're just not going to push it. I haven't seen what the lineup looks like today. I'd be surprised if Souza's not your starting designated hitter. And sounds like Cujillo's fine. Aloy should be able to get back out there and start in right field. So that's a couple of the injury concerns people had, which maybe we won't have those concerns when this weekend is concluded. And I'm not sure what to expect out of Xavier today or really for the weekend. I only have today's game. I'll be with women's basketball for the rest of the weekend. But A&M on Saturday, the game is Sunday. But Brett Dolan has the radio call tomorrow. Chuck will be on the call for baseball on Sunday. He'll have actually a couple of Sundays in a row for the baseball team. And I know people love listening to Chuck call the baseball games after all these years. But, Xavier's down 3 of their better hitters, and there's just not a ton of experience, of successful experience for a lot of these guys that play for Xavier, who is 2-2. They won a couple of games against ECU, lost one against ECU, and then got blown out by Louisville on Tuesday. Here's one thing about Xavier. This is one of those northern teams, Cincinnati, northern-ish. And I'm not sure how often they got outside. They've already, in 4 games, committed 8 errors. Ooh. Yes. And their opponents have made 6 errors. So in 4 games, and game with Xavier baseball has led to 15 errors and a lot of unearned runs. And I just don't think you're going to see Arkansas making 6 errors in 4 games against Xavier. So I feel pretty good about this weekend.
And let's don't have four players foul out. Oh, wrong sport.
That's right. No, that's right. How about just nobody get ejected this weekend?
All these people give us stats, and I absolutely love it. I love the stats. But when's the last time Arkansas's had just 2? When's the last time Arkansas's had 2 players foul out? I'm sure that happens from time to time. But yeah, man, four players foul out. Even if you have a deep team, that's still tough.
I don't even think I've seen 4 baseball players get ejected in a game. Sometimes there'll be guys that are just saying whatever in the dugout, not even in the lineup, and they get thrown out of the game. But I did remember seeing there was a year that the minor league umpires had a strike. So we had scab umpires. They were local guys. We didn't know who their names were. And the guy who ran the umpires in Midland, Texas, they had local chiefs, he had something against the Travelers that year. He throws out 2 players, then he throws out the manager and the hitting coach. So you only had 3 coaches with the team. The pitching coach had to take over for the remainder of the game. That's the only time I remember at least seeing 4 players or 4 people from one dugout thrown out in a baseball game. But 2 of them were coaches.
I had there was I guess they were still Oakland Raiders. Warren Sapp was on the team, and they came down to Jacksonville. And Warren Sapp got thrown out of a game. I always remember it because it's Warren Sapp. It's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best defensive tackles to ever play. You remember him playing for the Hurricanes and just Tampa Bay on that Tampa 2. He was a key cog there. You couldn't run that if you didn't have a good defensive line. And but he didn't like some call. He didn't know if it was a disgruntled veteran or what. But yeah, he got tossed in the middle of the game. But that was something.
For saying something to an official?
I'm seeing it, but I don't know what was said.
All you know is that there was something said.
And a lot of times it's kind of it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. It's the water drip. It's not the first time he said something. It's just like the guy's just tired of it, and you kind of got to throw. It's like what did Bo Jackson say? He told this story the other day about how his wife was having child. And so he got tossed in the middle of the first inning on purpose. Yes. And so it kind of felt like Sapp was he was ready to go home.
I saw some other stories that Bo Jackson had told from that podcast. Some interesting stuff that I don't even know if we can get into this here.
About the one where he went and had a Nick Lachey and then came back and hit a bomb. He went and burped in his manager's face and then went up there and hit a bomb.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the one. And he chugged a Miller Lite.
Nick Lachey, yeah.
He chugged a Miller Lite in the clubhouse, steps to the manager's shoulder and belches in his face, and then goes and hits a bomb.
Said, "I'm better."
It's I love when this stuff comes out 30 years after it happened. Because you end up with like rumors about it. People, think that something may be going on. Meanwhile, you just had Nick Castellanos admit he brought a Presidente, an El Presidente, into the Phillies dugout, and that's the reason he got suspended for a game. Meanwhile, Bo Jackson is burping in like Tony Muser's face, and he's probably getting a fist pound for it.
Well, kids are soft these days. Little Rock, they canceled school for 2 straight weeks. Like kids are
Yes,
soft.
I remember when they did that recently.
20 years ago, kids would have been back in school. It all starts at that youth age. Kids are soft these days.
It all works together, man. That's right. Yeah. So the ability to chug a beer, belch in your manager's face goes along with walking uphill both ways through sleet and snow and no shoes. Which I did all that with the shoes. No, I had the shoes, though. I had shoes. I can't lie about these things. I mean, I did walk uphill both ways. Pittsburgh is like that. So is Little Rock in some cases, too. Through sleet and snow, yeah, we didn't cancel school, but I did wear shoes.
Both my parents were school teachers. I was always at school. Yeah.
With them.
I was at school.
No matter what. Chris says he was at the game where it was Tennessee's Albert Haynesworth stomped on a player. And was it Orlando Brown?
That was the Cleveland Browns that threw the ball marker in the.
It was the flag. It was the penalty flag that the official threw, and it hit him in his eye. And then he goes and he pushes the official over. 6'8", like 380-pound Orlando Brown. And I remember when Haynesworth did that too. Yeah, it takes a little bit more to get thrown out of a football game. Like, are there magic words for the referees? Because we know the magic words for umpires and home plate. There's a very specific word. Just watch the movie Bull Durham, and you know exactly what it is. With a cherry on top, of course, too. And by the way, what has Unit gotten into? He's been on one for a couple of days. Yeah, what's going on there with the Unit? He's asking like philosophical questions on social media. You obviously are high on
John Denver
on a great life. Yeah, we've already all of a sudden Fort Smith is closer to Colorado than it's ever been.
These Rocky Mountains aren't so rocky, man.
The Unit, man. I mean, what are you guys going to do for the last 30 minutes of the show without me today? Just give the Unit the microphone, Matt, and let him take it from there so he can go on one or two or three.
Hey, that's why I got 2 ears.
Just to listen. You're a great listener. I will confirm that for anybody that needs to know if you're a great listener. And if anybody ever tells you you're not a good listener, Matt, I am here to confirm for you that you are a fantastic listener. I've experienced that my very self. Woo, that's right. I want to remind you about North Arkansas Regional Medical Center, bringing better to you, the only facility within 50 miles of Harrison that is baby-friendly designated. They're the third in Arkansas. Now there are currently 8 hospitals in Arkansas that are designated baby-friendly. NARMC delivers over 500 babies annually. You can learn more about North Arkansas Regional Medical Center online at narmc.com or join us on halftime for calls and texts on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. We are back in a moment.
Fired up. Let's go.
What are you fired up about?
Every life, the football, the media, the press, the fans, the world, my wife, my family, my grandkids, everything, you name it.
This is halftime.
This is Chuck Fawcett with Chuck Fawcett Realty. When I have an HVAC problem or a plumbing problem, I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940. Blaylock Heating and Air.
So to have a red truck rolling your way today, give us a call. That's Blaylock Heating and Air Conditioning for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and drain cleaning needs and great York Home products. It's just one number you need to know. That's 782-8940.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
Want pavement protection that goes the distance? Seal-Tite of Oklahoma now offers Rhino-Tite Premium Asphalt Emulsified Sealant, the next level in driveway and parking lot care. Healthier for the environment, Rhino-Tite delivers superior defense against weather, UV rays, and wear and tear. With its high solids content, you'll get a smoother, stronger, longer-lasting driving surface. Whether you're a do-it-yourselfer or a contractor buying in bulk, Seal-Tight has the products and support you need. Visit SealTightOklahoma.com today and protect your pavement with Rhino-Tite.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson. Got a lot going on during the week. I really don't want to leave the office, but my stomach's still growling. Thankfully, my buddy Mitchell introduced me to DK Fit Meals. David and his team put together incredible meal preps for me each and every week. Mitchell, I'm sure glad you recommended DK Fit Meals.
And with Arkansas basketball season underway, finding time to cook every night just isn't that easy. So with DK Fit Meals, I've got meals that are ready to go in just a matter of minutes. Find your flavor at dkfitmeals.com. That's dkfitmeals.com. So easy, even Ty can do it. Fuel your life with DK Fit Meals.
When a business has been around more than 65 years, you know they're doing something right. Hey, Ty Richardson for Johnny's Transmission. They've been trusted in Fort Smith and the River Valley since 1959. Located at 1212 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith, they strive to make every customer's experience outstanding and want your vehicle to be in the best condition for the road ahead. Check out their website, johnnystransmissionfs.com, and find them on Facebook. Johnny's Transmission, family owned and operated since 1959.
International soccer is coming to Razorback Stadium this spring. As the United States prepares to host the 2026 World Cup, the home of Razorback football is set to host its first international soccer match when Liga MX rivals Club America and Club Tigres face off in the Golden Clash on Saturday, March 28th. Tickets for this world-class soccer matchup will be available for just $35. Secure your seat for this can't-miss event at ArkansasRazorbacks.com.
World-class trout fishing is the star of the show at Gaston's White River Resort, where a few days away from all the worries and stress will make all right in your world. Gaston's has friendly, experienced guides to help you land your limit. Enjoy your stay at Gaston's in one of their private cottages or reserve a lodge for up to 20 people. Call now and let Gaston's help you plan your next getaway on the White River. 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Or learn more at Gastons.com. Gaston's, a first-class time, every time.
It's sad that we live in an unsafe world, but we do. Would you be able to show the police who was at your home if something was taken? Guardtronic installs alarm systems as well as camera systems. We here at ESPN rely on our Guardtronic installed cameras to keep an eye on what's going on around our building, as many of you do. Guardtronic has been serving the River Valley for over 60 years. Call Guardtronic for a free estimate so you'll be able to show the police who the bad boys are that took your belongings. License E50.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Hotline at 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive, serving drivers since 1946 and built on a tradition of trust.
There was a man that knew too much with a panic addict mind, but just to numb his golden touch to ignore the time had me slipping down into the back, standing in a line with a broken occupation on my back.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Hey, Pat Jones, get a look at the giveaway today for this Arkansas baseball game. We'll put it up, too, on our webcast. Look at this thing. This is a sweatshirt that's made out of baseball jersey. I've never seen anything like this before, and it's to the first 1,000 fans. This thing's awesome.
Man, that looks sharp right there. That makes me want to come up and go to the game today.
No
wow,
kidding.
How cool is that?
No kidding. They gave me a medium, Matt. Otherwise, I'd give it to you. I don't think you'd fit in this thing. This is cool. Yeah, great. This is like a big league giveaway, truthfully. This is the kind of stuff you would get at a major league giveaway.
It looks like what you would wear if you were going to go and you were covering crisscross and you were going to wear it backwards and be like, the Daddy Mac will make you jump.
It's a good point. You'd have to wear that backwards.
The Mac Daddy will make you.
I kind of feel like I want to try that now.
Crisscross and make you.
Yeah, I never put my pants on backwards before, even when it was cool to do it.
Even when it was cool.
It was cool for a few minutes there in like 92.
Hey, when I was in 4th grade, 5th grade, absolutely. We would wear our clothes to school backwards. Well, I couldn't walk out the house. I couldn't walk out the house backwards because my parents wouldn't let me.
I was about to say, it's like,
But then when I got to school, we would change. There was about 4 or 5 of us. We'd change. We'd put our clothes on back. We thought we were cool. Yeah.
I love seeing the
like
photos
fourth
from
grade. Yeah.
When's the last time you looked in a high school yearbook? Because I looked in mine, I guess, when I was home last May, and I'm thinking, look, I'm no fashion plate now or anything. It's like, wait a minute, what was I doing with these flannel shirts unbuttoned to show the T-shirt underneath, and what was with that hair? Like, I had hair back then.
No, if I see a picture back in the day, that's all I notice is I had hair back then. Yeah.
I don't even remember what it was like to brush it, or comb it, or do anything with it. It took me 5 minutes to cut my hair yesterday. It was the best 5 minutes of the day. It's so easy to do.
If I put my hand in the hair, can I get it out? And it's very important that I have a thick head of hair that I can put my hand into. I think you can get it out.
I think I can get that out, yeah. Matt called me this morning, too, and I didn't answer because I was in the shower. Is it okay to answer a phone call from a guy if you're in the shower? Now, that's an audio call. I'll also ask the question, too, if you're getting FaceTimed by a buddy. Now, do guys FaceTime?
If you ever FaceTime me, I won't ever. Anybody, I won't.
The only FaceTime you answer is the one we have for the show.
For work, yeah. I will not answer a FaceTime phone call.
Men, I don't think FaceTime each other.
Yeah. It's like, what are you FaceTime?
But I didn't take the phone call either because I was in the shower. It felt like a private moment. Is it okay to do that?
I've done it both ways where you just say, hey, I'll call you right back. I'm in the shower. Boom. And then it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Just depends, Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, you're in communal showers, right? It's not a big deal. And you can have a conversation with somebody. Just don't look down necessarily. I guess with a phone call, it might be just like you can't hear him because you just hear the water in the background. That'd be it. All right, we're going to have our third hour of halftime coming up in a moment. I'm getting out a little bit early so I could head down there and talk with Dave Van Horn for the pregame show. That's right, Pinto, the first 1,000 fans in the ballpark today will get this really cool Razorback baseball jersey hoodie. It's unique. I've never seen anything like it, and it's only to the first 1,000. And there right now are probably a few hundred that are lined up for the hog pen right now. You can actually see the line has turned the corner onto 15th. So it's starting early. Blake asked, how do you answer a phone in the shower? Really easy. You just have a towel, you dry off your finger, and you touch answer. That simple. And then you make sure that it's in a place where it doesn't get wet. I don't know. I've done it before. It hasn't been when Matt is called. You try calling me, though, Blake. I'll answer in the shower. Why not? We're friends now. Hour number 3 of Halftime's on the way. Stay with us.
Stay warm and dry this winter with Byrne and Carhartt winter workwear. Muck, dry shod, and extra tough rubber footwear to keep those toes dry. Winter clearance racks are full of casual and hunting clothing at 50% off. A select group of Western boots now 50% off. Crappie season is coming and fishing gear is arriving daily. Gelco Outdoors. Work, hunt, fish. That's what we do. Gelco Outdoors. 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Dental emergencies do not wait, and neither should you. At Valley Urgent Dental, they're here for you on the weekends, whether it's a broken tooth, a painful infection, or a crown that's come loose. Dr. Kendall Roberts and Dr. Doug Terry are ready to help. Why wait till Monday? Call 479-235-5655 now. Valley Urgent Dental is located at 5505 Uper Lane behind Golden Corral in Fort Smith. Valley Urgent Dental, emergency dental care when you need it most.
My name is Ken Blevins, and I'm running for Sebastian County Judge in the March 3rd Republican primary. I want to return common sense, integrity, and leadership to our county. Sebastian County needs a county judge that it can trust. It needs public officials that are elected by the people, accountable to the people, and able to win fair elections. Let's stop the good old boy system and backroom deals. It's that simple. Thanks for your confidence in me.
This ad paid for by the campaign to elect Ken Blevins.
The Greater Fort Smith Association of Home Builders presents the Home Show 2026, coming to the Fort Smith Convention Center February 20th through 22nd. Discover the latest in home ideas with live demonstrations, exciting giveaways, and something for everyone. Bring the kids for a bounce house area, a hands-on kids workshop, a Lego building contest, and see the Guinness Book of World Records largest brick. Don't miss the Home Show 2026. Fun, family, and inspiration all under one roof. FortSmithHomebuilders.com.
The Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Online and on the air and now everywhere you go. Tune in to the greatest moments of Razorback sports with Chuck Barrett, Bo Mattingly, Tommy Kraft, Ty Richardson, Phil Elson, Matt Jones, and Ruskin and Zach with our Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Stay connected no matter where you go with the Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Download for free in the Apple app or Google Play stores. Just search Hit That Line Now. It's fueled by Taco Bell. ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, plenty of sunshine. Our high temperatures this afternoon into the middle 70s with winds gusting as high as 30 to 35 miles per hour. Clear skies, a much colder go of it tonight, mid-30s north, mid-40s south, and then sunny and cool on Friday with a high in the upper 50s to mid-60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for wine, specialty beers, and liquor, located at 12100 Highway 71 South in Fort Smith. KERX Paris, Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. What can't they dominate? And we not doing it. We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field. Yeah. Hugo said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my heart, dog? Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
But they were one Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones. The Cinderella story is over, man. Let's go.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
It's 101 on a Friday. The sun is shining brightly at Bohm Walker Stadium. Any cloud cover is pushed off to the southeast, and we've got baseball coming up in 2 hours. Arkansas right now, it's about another 25 minutes or so of their batting practice. Avery will take over from there. The Musketeers have arrived, too, in the third base dugout. And this is our last hour of halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Ruskin and Zach will take over at 2 o'clock. We've got a 2:30 dugout show this afternoon, 3:02 first pitch. Many of these stations will be carrying it. And, of course, all throughout the weekend, softball in action, gymnastics in action, baseball, basketball. It's a busy, busy weekend here on the Hill. And, of course, top of mind for everybody would be basketball with Missouri coming in here tomorrow. First of 2 times you'll take on the Tigers here of the last 3 weeks of the season. Carter Knox undergoing surgery yesterday to repair his meniscus. No timetable set for his return. And when you hear no timetable set for his return and there's a month before the tournament begins, well, I don't think there is much of a timetable for his return at all. So Hogs will take on Missouri without him tomorrow. And, well, we got to find out about Isaiah Seeley in this case. You got to feel pretty good about Arkansas against Missouri, even with 7 players. If you went as close as you did to a win against Alabama on the road in the same situation, well, I think in that kind of case, you got to feel pretty good about just 7 players being available. If you can lose in double overtime with 115 points on the road with 7, well, then you can win in regulation in 4, well, I was going to say 4 quarters because I call women's basketball, and at some point men's college basketball will get to 4 quarters. I don't I don't know when it's going to happen, but at some point you'll get to 4 quarters in men's college basketball. But let's just say for 40 minutes. At least if it's 40 minutes. You don't want to see Arkansas have to get into overtime too often. And I wouldn't be all that worried about the guys playing 50 minutes on Tuesday and then having to turn around and play on Saturday, I think, or on Wednesday, pardon me. I think they're highly conditioned enough. And Darius Acuff, did he look even a little bit tired? Maybe that last shot didn't fall the way that you wanted it to. He never looked tired for me. So I think they'll be able to bounce back, get out there and play however long they got to play and go out and get a win at the same time. John in Fort Smith has called our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. You can do the same, 877-377-6963 for calls and texts. John, thanks for calling. What's going on?
Hey, man, I just want to say it's time for Ewing and Pringle to step up. They should be embarrassed by the way they played at Alabama. When you're 6'11" and you get 1 rebound, that's a joke. And they're getting shoved around in the paint like a third-grade girl. It's time for those guys to step up. They're getting paid to play. These aren't kids. These are professionals. And it's time for them to step up. That's it. That's all I got. Thanks.
Well, appreciate that. And I think, with most Arkansas fans and probably the coaches will agree with you in this case. What does stepping up look like for both of them in a realistic sense? No, they're not about to turn into rebounding machines or reliable scorers on a consistent basis. So in terms of stepping up, what does that look like for Malik Ewing and for Nick Pringle? At least not being zeros, I think, in that case. Don't go out there and score nothing in 20 minutes if you're Ewing. That's somebody that should score. It's not like you're counting on him for 15 or even double digits, but what did you think you were getting when you had a guy who averaged 14 points a game in the ACC last year? There's absolutely no way that you would have thought that he gets shut out in 20 minutes in a game that your point guard scored 49. And it's the same with Pringle. It's he doesn't have to be the guy that gets 10 rebounds. He doesn't have to get out and score double digits, but he's got to do more than 1 rebound. And there's got to be more of an interior presence. So I don't know, Matt, in terms of the idea of the production you need from them, I just think you need them to not be zeros in some cases. And that's just an improvement in and of itself. But there have been other games where Ewing has shown that he's got a little bit. Maybe the stitches, are an issue for him. And maybe it takes a little bit of time to come back from being dazed the way that he was dazed. I don't know. Pringle's never been a featured guy on a team, but he has played on a Final Four team, which means he wasn't a zero when he was out there. So something's there for both of them.
Look, I like Nick Pringle. I like Malik Ewing. I think both those guys are better bigs than we've had in a while. I do. I think they're both serviceable. It's the offense. Not a lot of it's drawn up for them. That's for sure. And they both have different skill sets. Nick Pringle is a defensive-minded player, man. He's tough. I like him. And then Malik Ewing's a big body that has a little skill, man. Has eye-hand coordination, can shoot a little bit. I mean, he can do some things. The thing, too, is it's tough, Phil, when – I guess it would be like this. You could equate it like this, that a DH in a series, a 4-game series with some team, and then you're asking a DH in the 3rd game in the 8th inning to come up and get a home run. And that's it. He does it. That's his only at bat. You're like, I mean a pinch hitter. I'm sorry. It's like
sure.
You're asking. So he's still on the team. He's your pinch hitter. He might not play for 2 games. You don't run a lot, so you to stay focused and stay in the moment and doing some of the things that don't show up in the stat sheet. But it's tough when they don't run a single play for you ever.
Well, in that terms, that hitter hopefully can put together a good at-bat, make it a tough out for the pitcher, maybe help, run his
the
pitch total up.
Exactly. Throws 11 pitches to him. That's what that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, and that's what you're asking for and that's why I appreciate you watch the game for what it is, and you don't just look at a box score and say that's the game. That's not how you got to be able to watch the game. Not that the box score doesn't help you, but yeah.
But it's still so even just looking at the box score, and there's one rebound for Nick Pringle.
Got to have more.
Right, I could appreciate the idea that block out your guy, somebody else can go get the rebound. But one rebound for a starting forward in a game that was played in 50 minutes, that's getting shut out, essentially. I mean, that's like your 3 swings or 3 takes and you're out if you're the pinch hitter in that case.
But we had 10 blocks in between those two. They had 4 of them. So that's another thing right there. Maybe they should have had a couple more, but Malik and Nick both had 2 blocks. But I'm with you. Their rebounding numbers were pretty – I mean, they combined for 2 rebounds and 4 blocks.
And to be some kind of defensive presence, like just number 22 for Alabama, that forward. Look, I know Philon played a great game. They won the game because of the big forward that Arkansas couldn't stay in front of, and just they got killed on the pick and rolls with them. So because sooner or later, look, I know, just like Aaron said in March, it's all about your guards. You got to have forwards that can defend too and rebound. So yeah, that'll be top of mind for a lot of folks when it comes to tomorrow. Rick says learn to guard a pick and roll. Chris and Alma is not sure if it stitches for you or not, but almost like a concussion the way he took that. I mean, that elbow to the head, that looked like it really dazed him. Now getting blood gushing from your forehead is going to daze you no matter what. Morgan thinks that it's a matter of effort in those cases, and Pinto like the Mitchell twins. Now I would like to, they had presence on the inside. They didn't really give you much in terms of scoring production, but there was a presence from the both of them that I think sometimes is lacking from the 2 guys that we're talking about here. Sean thinks they're fine if the goal is Elite 8, but you need elite bigs to win the Natty. I wonder about Elite 8 if you're not getting anything in those cases. Hogball texted in earlier in the show, and he's decided this is not a Final Four team right now. Is it an Elite 8 team? I think they can get going and get a run going because, even shorthanded, still putting up 115. It's a dangerous offensive team too, Matt. And I know they've got to push and they got to hit 3-pointers and all of that. Is there enough energy in these legs in this next 6 weeks to make a push to the Elite 8 or the Final Four? How close they came to winning that game on Wednesday says, yeah, maybe so.
The talent's there. Yeah, there's talent. It's just you got to be, what's the old saying? It's better to be lucky than good. I mean, this team is good, but we're going to have to get the ball to bounce the right way for us. Can't get in foul trouble. Our margins are thin. Like we don't have a lot of room for error with this team because you're not very deep, and so you have to pay attention to detail. You have to do the little things right. You don't want wasted energy. Energy needs to be all good energy. And doing the little thing, you got to win all the little battles and don't worry about the big war. Do the little things right and the big things that take care of themselves. But it's such a, when depth is an issue, when it's a war of attrition, we're already two players down going into battle.
We're helping Arkansas Children's Northwest raise funds all throughout the month for their Champions for Children's Give-a-thon. Very easy to help us out. Just go to hitthatline.com. You'll find a Give-a-thon link. Choose your favorite show that you'll donate in honor of and donate today. We'd like to thank River City Coatings for helping us with the Arkansas Children's Northwest Champions for Children's Give-a-thon. Over at River City Coatings, your source for custom fabrication and powder coating. No project too big or too small. They're also offering large-scale custom metal fabrication with quick turnaround times. If you need it built right, River City Coatings has you covered. Again, go to hitthatline.com, look for the Give-a-thon link, choose your favorite show, and donate today to the Arkansas Children's Northwest Champions for Children Give-a-thon all throughout the month of February. You want to join us on halftime? Calls or texts come in on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963, and we are right back after this.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Hotline at 877-377-6963. Lewis
Tommy
Automotive.
Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got trophies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Once people tried Taco Bell's new Lux value menu with 10 decadent items, all $3 or less, including the new mini taco salad, an edible bowl filled with succulent seasoned beef and dressed with a lavish chipotle crema, they started expecting everything to be as Lux. You're wondering which is the mini taco salad for, aren't you? Taco Bell's new Lux value menu, 10 extravagant indulgences, all $3 or less.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge. And when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
Does your Razorback closet need an upgrade? The University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you're looking for, only at Roback.com. They've custom designed the best hoodies, polos, and Q-zips for your school. Go check out this and more at Roback.com, and don't forget to use our link for 20% off. Use code RUSH25 at checkout on Roback.com for 20% off your first order. That's RHOBACK.com. 20% off all hoodies, joggers, and more with Rush 25. Roback, where action meets comfort. Well, the game might be over, but the night usually isn't. You're still hanging out, still scrolling, still looking for something fun to do. That's usually where I end up on my bookie. I'll go from sports straight into the casino. Same account, same balance. What I like is it never feels quiet. There's always something happening. Cash drops, tournaments, live dealers. So you're not just playing, you're part of the action. Head to mybookie.ag now and use promo code HOGS, and you'll get a 300% deposit match up to $750, which gives you plenty to play with. Game night, late night, everything in between. MyBookie's always on.
Dad, the driver looks dirty. You yucky, Daddy.
Hey, don't worry, boys. That's what we do best. At My Dreams Mo Wash, we make homes, businesses, and even big industrial spaces shine like new.
So you can clean houses and big buildings?
That's right. Residential, commercial, or industrial. No job's too big or too small. Call My Dreams Mo Wash today at 479-763-5561 or visit mjmowash.com.
My Junior's Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
David Bowie got more fame with his #1 hit titled Fame. John Lennon co-wrote and sounded some of the high notes. The last line in the first verse sums it up. Fame puts you there where things are hollow. John 12:43 tells us that many people rejected Jesus because they loved the fame of people more than the praise of God. Is it any wonder you get more fame by rejecting the name of Jesus? I'm Pastor E from Woodland. Think about it.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
Call your name. You keep on sleeping through the pouring rain. Think we're going crazy. It's blazing. She looks So is raining. Nicotine and gravy.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Lewis Automotive, serving drivers since 1946 and built on a tradition of trust. Now let's get back to halftime with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Arkansas football legend Matt Jones.
Well, it's good to hear from Bobby in Cave Springs, who's on our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Sometimes he's hog-noxious, other times he's Bobby. So he's Bobby right now. Why not hog-noxious at the moment, Bobby?
Well, because I'm not fulfilling that role. I have to say, when I woke up this morning at 5 o'clock, it was very hurtful to my heart because I was already an hour late to go down to the ball field as I had done for the previous 30 years or so. But that's all right. I'll be all right. I'll get to listen to Phil. Things will be good.
I thought I saw where you're still going to be giving the Sunday devotional like all these other years, too. Is that true for this coming Sunday?
You are correct. I will be there talking a little about Noah's Ark and a few lessons on Sunday morning at 10. It's going to be nice and warm, I'm sure.
Well,
but I enjoyed
warm enough.
I really enjoyed listening to you last week. The comment about Thompson getting on the top step and shaking that green towel like it was his moneymaker, and then when you were talking about Big Country, that he's not really as slow as he looks. He does look like he's running carrying a piano on his back, but he's not really that slow. Really enjoyed the broadcast last week.
Thanks very much, Bobby. Just trying out some of the early season material. Yeah, I love the green towel, the neon green towel of positioning. You never miss it whenever Nate walks up and starts wiggling it around.
Well, if either you or Bubba, one of the two of you, if the first time the umpire calls one of Gackel's strikes, calls it a ball, if one of you could just say, the umpire's been like that all year, it'd really make me feel a lot better.
That's fine. Yeah, we'll do plenty. I'm sure we'll do plenty of complaining about the strike zone today. I mean, that goes without saying. If you got a baseball broadcast, you're going to have people complaining about the strike zone. That's 100% a given, man.
That's right. Everybody's talking about maybe Darius Acuff is the greatest Razorback basketball player of all time. I have to say he's kind of like if Joe Johnson and Corey Beck had a baby, maybe it'd be Darius Acuff. I love watching the guy. He is just fantastic. But he's got to play a little better defense before we can call him the greatest Razorback of all time. Because we've had some really great defensive guards, and part of the problem with the team right now is they, as a whole, are not playing good enough defense, especially on the interior. Block shots great, but you got to get the part where you get in position to make sure they can't get to the basket. You got to get that straightened out too. But I have to say, man, if you don't think Wednesday night's game and what the team did and what they know they accomplished at Wednesday night's game, if you don't think that's going to help us come March, I think you're fooling yourself. I think that was a good thing for the team to do that and to know that if they have to do that, they can do it again.
Yeah, I mean, it's the feeling that, you know, one thing goes in a different direction, that you win that game. That certainly could have gone either way. And, pardon me, just competing as hard as they did with 7 available players. I agree. You know, I want to feel like the next time it won't be a game like that, because that's an outlier. I don't think we'll see a game like that again. But there's going to be another tight ball game that goes down to the last 5 seconds, where it's going to come down to one shot. And, you know, I want to feel like that shot will fall for the Razorbacks instead of it, you know, looking like a two-handed dunk that didn't go through. And that last shot's not why they lost. It's, an aggregate of all these other things. And maybe the next time it happens on the road or on a neutral site, ball's going to go through. But, it's funny to hear the term about accomplish in that case with a loss. But I do feel like there was an accomplishment aspect to that basketball game. But it's weird to think about that in the context of a loss, because a loss is a loss. Bobby, good to hear from you, man. Always good to hear from you. 877-377-6963, Lewis Automotive Group hotline. It's funny how people understand that game, Matt. It's like you watch that game, some looking at it saying, this is not a Final Four team. You're not getting enough from your forwards. And even with a hero effort by Acuff, they lost. And then there's the other side of it. It's like, well, you're that close to winning a game where you fouled 4 guys out. That's never going to happen again. I think Bobby's on the other end of that coin. All right, before we go here, I want to remind you about Roback. If you take advantage of what right now is beautiful weather in Arkansas with friends at Roback. I know it's getting cold tonight and maybe early next week, but then it's going to be nice and beautiful again for baseball season, and you want to dress your parts, get over to Roback.com. They got a very special Arkansas Game Day collection that you won't find anywhere else. Go to RHOBACK.com and check out that Arkansas Game Day collection. Custom designed hoodies, polos, Q-zips, and much more, only for Razorback fans. And you'll find 20% off your first order if you use the code RUSH25 at checkout. It's Roback, and it's where action meets comfort. Again, the number here for the Lewis Automotive Group hotline is 877-377-6963. Matt and the unit take over. I'll see you in a little more than an hour for the Built Ford Tough Dugout show for Arkansas and Xavier, and then we'll be back on Monday with another edition of Halftime, and looking forward to that. So you guys take over. Thanks so much, and have yourself the rest of a Friday.
In my entire adult life, I've never used the expression game face. So I've no idea what it means or what you're supposed to do.
This is Halftime.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-885-5151. That's 800-885-5151. Again, that's 800-885-5151.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Save up to $4,000 on select Buick Enclaves at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. That's $4,000 off and 4.9% financing for up to 84 months on this luxurious third-row SUV. Or drive the brand-new Buick Envista, a stylish crossover, for as low as $399 per month. These are limited-time offers. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith, or online at harryrobinson.com.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. Does your yard need to be serviced in the fall and winter months? Of course. A Cut Above is with you every step of the way. Whether it's commercial or residential, a Cut Above can handle all your needs. Tree service, stump grinding, brush hog, full landscaping. Plus, a Cut Above can take care of all your leaf removal. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. That's a Cut Above, 719-5605.
We all plan to be on time, but fender benders, damaged windshield, and slick road quickly disrupt those plans. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help design personal protection plans that work for you and help keep you on track. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Call Jeff Clark in Fort Smith.
Get ready for Mudbug Mayhem, the Crawfish Festival that's a true celebration of community, family, and culture. Join us March 7th at Chaffee Crossing Historic District for Cajun-inspired food, live music, local vendors, and a sizzling crawfish cook-off. Check out the car show, the cornhole contest. There's activities for all ages, and you can make memories with friends and family. Don't miss the fun. Mudbug Mayhem Crawfish Festival, March 7th. It's free to get in. Learn more at mudbugmayhemfest.com.
Presented by Central Hydraulics. When your equipment slows down, every minute matters. At Central Hydraulics, they keep your machines operating with the power and precision they were built for. From custom hydraulic hoses made while you wait to cylinder rebuilds, pump repairs, and hard-to-find parts, their technicians get you solutions you need. Fast, accurate, and done right the first time. Stop by 6104 Highway 271 in Fort Smith or call 479-646-0471. Whether it's a simple hose replacement or a major hydraulic repair, they're here to keep your equipment performing. Central Hydraulics, helping you move the world.
Don't miss Ruskin and Zach live at Sutherland's in Fort Smith on Monday, February 23rd from 2 to 6 p.m. If you've been dreaming about a new workshop, horse barn, or extra storage space, let Sutherland's make that a reality. Go to Sutherland's.com or stop by your local store today for a free estimate. Ruskin and Zach live at Sutherland's in Fort Smith at 1801 South Zero Street on Monday, February 23rd from 2 to 6 p.m. Sutherland's, no matter the project, they're here to help because at Sutherland's, home starts here.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Shout when you want to get off the ride. Shout when you want to get off the ride. Shout when you want to get off the ride. 'Cause you cross my mind, cross my mind. Don't say the late night. Double time. Have a cherry on the fruit stand. Right am I the only have a cherry on the fruit stand?
Make sure to follow Halftime on X at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Lewis Automotive, serving drivers since 1946 and built on a tradition of trust. Let's get back to the show with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Let's welcome in a Razorback legend via the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, the greatest shot in the history of Razorback basketball that helped beat the Duke Blue Devils in Charlotte, North Carolina back in 1994. Scotty Thurman joins us. Scotty, good morning. Thanks for making some time for us here on the Morning Rush.
How you doing this morning, man? Thanks for having me.
Man, we're good. We're good. So let's start with Darius, because I know you've probably been asked since what happened Wednesday night. And you had a heck of a freshman season, and by standards, the greatest ever until what Darius has done this year. I wonder your thoughts. I know that he's point guard. You played shooting guard, but what have you seen from him this season and how he's been able to explode as just a youngster in the Southeastern Conference?
Well, man, I really like his poise and his demeanor on the floor. I think early in the year I was maybe looking for him to be a little bit more of a vocal leader, and I see that he does do some of that, but it's just kind of subtle. But just the way he goes about his business and performs at a high level. I mean, when you think about that 49-point performance, the only performance that I've ever witnessed of that magnitude was Todd Day at LSU when he had 43 against Shaq and those guys. And so when you think about the season he had, I think it's definitely one of the best, if not the best, in Razorback history. And I wish he would have, did that in a win, but I think he's going to be able to lead us to a lot more wins moving forward.
Scotty, when you look at the game today and the dribble drive or the three, there's not much mid-range. Compared to today's game and what we watch, how it's played to when you were out there 30 years ago. I mean, the game has changed so much in the offensive approach.
Well, I think it's changed from the standpoint of, a lot of teams don't pick up and press the way that we did. You don't see as much trapping with the exception of a team like A&M. Obviously, when teams get down and fall behind points, they try to press. So I think it's changed in that magnitude. You see a lot more half-court play. But then offensively, I think the game is a lot more open. There's no hand-checking involved, and so guys can get to their spots a little bit easier. And then I just think that the skill level of some of these guys, especially when you think about A-Cup, he's one of the few guys that you will see take some mid-range pull-ups. So I think his game is just kind of become what it is now is where he can hit the three, he can get to the basket and shoot the runner, and then he also shoots pull-ups. And so his game is kind of multi-dimensional.
Ty asked about Darius Acuff. You've been around long enough to see some of the greats because Todd Day, Lee Mayberry, those guys came right before you that were great in the backcourt. You've watched them all from that point forward. Where would Acuff stack up with some of those great players and some of the great teams?
I mean, I think he'd be right up there. I mean, I think his offensive performance the other night showed you that he can do pretty much anything with the ball in his hands. He has had moments this year where he's had the opportunity to play off the ball, not a lot, but when he does that, he's effective as well. So I think he could fit in on any team. I think if he played with our team, with Coach Richardson, he probably wouldn't play 50 minutes in a game because we were a lot deeper, so it'd be a lot more guys kind of coming in and out. But what he can do offensively, I think, is incredible, so I think that fits in anywhere.
We're talking with Scotty Thurman here this morning, Razorback legend. You mentioned the kind of the minutes continuity. It's going to shift a little bit. I know you probably saw Carter's torn meniscus, that timetable, still waiting on that. But when the rotation shrinks nowadays, Scotty, how do players bond? How do they get better like they did at the end of last season? And how do you think that can maybe take shape here in the remainder of this year as well?
Well, I think, we had guys getting, I think Trevon Brazile has, played more consistently, probably not as consistent as we want him to, but I think when you look at his numbers over the last, few matches, I think he's played pretty well. Not necessarily offensively, but he's affected the game from a defensive standpoint, blocking shots, rebounding at a high level, playing quite a few minutes. But I think these guys now, they work on so many different types of skill sets. Back when we played, you had to be able to dribble with your left, with your head up, pass off the dribble. But now guys are emulating pros a lot, and so they're working on, different things, double step backs and all these type things that, for us was considered dangerous because the coach would pull you out of the game for those type of things. But now I think guys are perfecting their craft because everybody's got a trainer now, so it's a little bit different in that aspect.
You coach high school athletes now. You're in charge of a program. What from Nolan Richardson and probably the toughest moments, tougher than boot camp, some of those practices you went through. What do you take from those lessons you learned 30-plus years ago that you employ every day now with your teams?
Well, one is, I'm not coaching at the moment. I stepped away from it. My daughter's playing volleyball there at the U of A, so we're following around, traveling, watching her. And then I've got two grandkids in Fayetteville because my son worked at the university. So I stepped away from coaching. But when I was coaching, one of the things that, we implemented from when I played for coaches, we went at 6 a.m. every morning to practice. And I thought that was the craziest thing when I played in college. Like, why are we practicing at 6 a.m. when we won't have a game at that time? But what it taught me was that, you get up early, you get a lot more things done than if you start later in the day. And it kind of gets your day going. You've got a lot of things that you can get done, whether that be a workout, if you're a student, whether that be schoolwork, if you've got a job, whether that's preparing your day, for what the things you have to do at the job. And so from a preparation standpoint, that's one of the things. And then from the basketball standpoint, it's just effort, playing hard, playing unselfish, sharing the basketball, and then ultimately not being a me guy, being a we guy. And I think that's some of the biggest lessons that I learned.
Is that the hardest thing in today's world where it does seem to be more me? Everybody's caught up in their phones. Everybody's caught up in the distractions. Was when you were coaching at Little Rock Parkview, was that one of the harder things with this generation to maybe peel back?
Yeah, it was definitely a difficult thing. I think a lot of guys, that's just kind of society now. Everything's quick. We call it the microwave society because they can get news and information quick on their phones. They can see another person's stats or whether it's offers or whatever it is that they're watching. And I think too many times, young people are running other people's race instead of running their own. And so that's kind of what I would tell my guys is like, every kid in high school is not going to play Division I basketball. That's okay. But the ones that are, obviously you got to be, in that above that 1%. But when you're not, it's okay to, go to college and get a degree and go on and be a productive citizen. And I think that's what's being lost now. There's so much pressure on young people to be, great athletes, but people don't value the other skills that they learn during athletics that they can apply to real life. And I think that's one of the things that's being lost.
national champion Scotty Thurman with us here on the Morning Rush. Scotty, current city head coach now, John Calipari, really values the relationship with your former head coach and Hall of Famer Coach Richardson. What has that meant to you to see that from afar or up close in person, how much that he respects and really wants Coach Richardson to be around in the program today in 2026?
Well, I mean, having that relationship with Coach, and obviously as he gets older, as I get older myself, you just realize how special it was to have those moments. And, even if you took them for granted when you were 19 or 20, you definitely don't take them for granted right now because you realize that, it could be over at any minute, as you get older. And so, those relationships with my teammates, I continue to uphold and keep established so that they don't waste away. And me having that relationship with Coach, who was a glue to it all, is very important at this point in my life.
I know it's a consistent discussion around Razorback fans. Coach Richardson has a street named after him. Now the court's named after him. Is that enough? I mean, does he need a statue outside of Bud Walton Arena as a former player and a guy that went all the way with Coach? Where do you stand in that regard, Scotty?
I mean, I think there could be more done. I mean, not just for Coach. I mean, I know there's been people talking about the statue. I think that's something that may need to happen. But in light of what's taking place with NIL, and I think those funds are probably being appropriated in another area. But in terms of like commemorating jerseys and that type of thing, I think it's important that some of the former players at Todd Days, the Ronnie Brewer seniors, maybe even Ronnie Brewer juniors, Joe Johnson, guys that, had great careers there, be held up in the rafters. Obviously, you can't retire the jersey because there's only a few, but I think you can commemorate more guys. Lee Mayberry, I think there's Darryl Walker. I mean, there's a lot of guys that need to be recognized, and I think that helps with donors. They feel connected to the program because now so many guys are leaving early or transferring, and so there's really no real connection long term. And then I think, from a familiarity, it helps, from the fundraising aspect. And then when you think about a young man walking in your gym and looking up to the rafters and seeing a jersey, if he's gone to a school that's got several, and then he comes to Arkansas and there's only two, does he think he has an opportunity for his name to be up there, given the fact that that's one of his goals? And so I think it definitely needs to be talked about and discussed and then hopefully implemented.
Yeah, Michael Irvin, Dallas Cowboy, had a great quote. He's like, I don't want my jersey retired. I want someone to wear it. So when he joked about Dez or CD dropping a ball, it's like Michael Irvin would have caught that. Do you take pride when you see a Razorback basketball player number 30 today?
I do. I mean, when I see Isaiah Seeley in it, knowing him from high school somewhat and watching him play, you kind of pull for him a little bit more because you're like he's wearing your jersey. And so there's definitely a certain connectivity to it in terms of that. And I mean, no different than when I walked in the gym when I was in college and I saw Sidney Moncrief's jersey up there. I mean, it was like, hey, if I play well enough, that'll be me one day. And now, we've got Corliss up there, but, Corliss was great. There's no question about it. Sidney was great, but neither one of those guys did it all by themselves. There were other great players that came through, and I think a lot of those guys would like the recognition, not only for their families, but just to feel appreciated. And then at the end of the day, you also got certain fans that may connect with the Darryl Walker, may connect with Lee Mayberry, may connect with Todd Day, and I think it would help from a giving standpoint as well.
Scotty, a lot of people have had their thoughts, and I'm sure you've been asked a lot about your decision to leave when you left to enter the draft. But now with NIL, you bring that up. Players have a difficult decision. Do I come back for guaranteed money and a spot on this roster, or do I go and try to pursue the dream of an NBA career? What advice would you lend to someone who's been there, had to make that decision, but didn't make it under the terms of today's game, where you had that NIL money to come back to? How would you approach that if it was your son or your daughter in this situation playing volleyball with today's world?
Well, I mean, when you think about the types of money that these young people are getting, I mean, why would you leave? I mean, if somebody's going to pay you, $500,000, $800,000 or whatever that number is while you're in school, I mean, even if it's $100,000 and you're in college and people forget you're still on scholarship, your school is still free, your books is free, your meals are free, your living are free because your scholarship covers all of that. You still get cost of attendance. God forbid if you're a kid that, comes from, humble beginnings, you get a Pell Grant. So you're getting all this money. why would you have to leave? Because ultimately, when you're leaving to hopefully make a better life for yourself. So if you're not going to be a first-round pick or a lottery pick, there's no rush. I mean, if a guy can make $500,000 for 4 years, I mean, after taxes, you figure you've got a pretty good savings. And once you go out and get a job in the real world, you can have a very productive life because you've kind of got a head started. So, for me, if it was my kid that was making that type of money, unless they were a lottery pick in basketball, I don't think we would go anywhere. Obviously, each case is different, but I just kind of find it hard to believe that there's a need to leave when you're already been compensated very well. And if it was me in today's climate, if someone was giving me $500,000 in 95, I don't know that I'd leave because there wouldn't have been a reason to.
Yeah. You ever think back on that moment or, any regrets about the decision you made 30 years ago?
Man, at 51, I mean, I've had a lot of things happen in my life, and that's not at the top of my thought process in terms of how I view, moving forward. Of course, at that time, being 20, it had a very negative impact on me. But, once I got through the articles and the propaganda that was being shared, the lack of information that was being shared, once I got past that, it really just made me a stronger person and a better businessman and a better family man. And so, man, I really don't think about it.
Yeah.
Unless someone asks me, I don't have any conversations about it. But to be able to speak on it at 51, that's not something that keeps me up at night. You know what I mean?
So what about that and that decision that someone in our audience wouldn't know that, they just see the fact that you left and it didn't go the way you'd planned. What do they not know behind the scenes and what led to all of that decision?
The information that was shared with me from NBA executives, they don't really know the conversation that was had between myself and Coach Richardson at that time. They don't understand maybe that, I was a 20-year-old father and, I didn't come from the beginnings of being able to pick up the phone and call home and ask for things. And so for me, it was a situation of, I was a good student, so I didn't struggle in school, thankfully. But it was a decision for me to think about how I'm going to take care of my family and knowing that I couldn't just pick up the phone and call my parents and say, hey, I need this or I need that. It was a situation where it's like, okay, you've got an opportunity to go out with the information you received and maybe be a first-round pick. Why not if you can take care of your family and give yourself a head start in life? And so, the thing, it didn't work out the way that I planned, but I mean, there's several other people, I'm sure, just in life, not basketball players, that have had things that they thought would go a certain direction and it didn't. And, it didn't necessarily terminate, their life lesson per se. It just kind of gave them an opportunity to focus on other things and do something else. And so, I was fortunate enough to be able to go and play after that for many years and, travel across the world playing basketball, something that, not very many people get an opportunity to do. And so when I look in the mirror every day, I'm pretty happy with, the way I was able to weather the storm. And obviously I had a lot of people in my life that were very impactful in terms of helping me through that time. But, I don't really drive, in my life. I look at the rearview mirror very seldom. I'm more of a front windshield guy.
Well, let's talk about that front windshield. You mentioned being a father. You mentioned your son a little while ago, Scotty Thurman Jr., and I know he was in Birmingham at the SEC office, and now he's back in Fayetteville. What's he doing up on the hill, Scotty?
Man, he's working for the University of Arkansas. He works in compliance, and so he is, made his parents very proud because he got his degree from there. He got his master's degree. He was able to go work for the NCAA and the SEC office. And so being able to come back home and, where he graduated high school from Fayetteville High School. And so, that's another reason that I stepped away from the coaching because I got two grandboys that are 10 and 6. And so I get the opportunity to go and hang out with them and spend a lot of time while we watch my daughter play or not. Mm-hmm. And so it was kind of hard for me to keep coaching and knowing that here it is, I'm going to walk into the team huddle and put my hands up and say, hey, guys, go to class. Make sure you hit the weights. Make sure you do this. And I'm running to go get on the plane every time. And so, I didn't think that would be fair to the kids or to the coaches that I worked with. And so it was just time for me to make somewhat of a selfish decision, but it was family-based.
Well, I think people understand. And you also mentioned your daughter playing volleyball. Started in Chapel Hill, now back here in Fayetteville. And she was a senior, right? I'm not misremembering that, right?
Yes, she's a senior.
Well, have you turned into a full-blown volleyball dad, screaming and yelling?
I don't really do the screaming and yelling. I just kind of cheer for all the girls and want to see them do well. Last season was a tough season for us, but we're looking forward to having a really good season this year. And so, I'm just supportive, man. Of course, I will, make certain comments to her when we, get home. But fortunately for us, nobody in my family plays volleyball, and so we don't have to worry about trying to coach the game. For us, it's more about being there for support and just letting her know that, we've got her back, and not just her, but, her teammates as well. And so it's just a beautiful thing to be able to sit in the stands, watch a game. I don't have the pressure of me of making substitutions. I don't have the pressure of drawing up a play. I just get the opportunity to support my kid and her teammates. And so we make every game. In Carolina, I think I made 18 out of the 30. At Arkansas, I made every one, and so that won't change this year.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. And you can coach them them grandsons, right?
Well, I don't know if they're going to be athletes or not. Right now, we're trying to raise a doctor, and we don't know what the 6-year-old's going to be, but the 10-year-old says he wants to be a doctor. So right now, we're focused on math and science.
Well, I think you got some help with that doctoring part, right?
Yeah, I got a little help.
Yeah, you chose well there. Scotty, great to talk with you. Great to catch up. Fun conversation, and let's do it again soon.
Yes, sir, man. I look forward to it, man. You guys have a great weekend.
What's up, guys? Huge fan. I love the show. I listen all the time.
This is halftime.
Start the year strong with New Holland 300 Series compact track loaders from WT Equipment. Enjoy outstanding comfort, class-leading visibility, and best-in-class boom geometry for exceptional lift and reach. With fuel-efficient models from 60 to 90 horsepower and a wide range of attachments, the 300 Series CTLs are ready for whatever the job and the year throws at you. See the New Holland 300 Series compact track loaders today at WT Equipment in Springdale. WT Equipment. Equip your future, elevate your potential.
Being a father doesn't come with a manual, but you don't have to figure it out alone. Invest Fatherhood is a program of Heart-to-Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center, and our Man Up classes bring dads together. This is a network of fathers building stronger families one step at a time, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. If you're ready to be the dad your kids need, man up, step in, and join the brotherhood. Invest Fatherhood, a heart-to-heart program. Strong fathers change everything. Call Heart-to-Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center at 479-452-2260 to sign up today.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 Fort Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
Hi, this is Philip Carr. After a long winter nap, the legendary Shangri-La Resort on Lake Ouachita is waking back up. The coffee is hot, the cabins are cozy, and yes, those famous homemade pies are back in the oven. Whether you're here for a world-class fishing or just a quiet slice of paradise, we've missed you. Visit Shangri-La Resort, AR.net to plan your February getaway, or give us a call at 870-867-2011. Shangri-La Resort in beautiful Midata, Arkansas. A touch of paradise and a boatload of fun.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. Does your yard need to be serviced in the fall and winter months? Of course. A Cut Above is with you every step of the way. Whether it's commercial or residential, a Cut Above can handle all your needs. Tree service, stump grinding, brush hog, full landscaping.
Plus, a Cut Above can take care of all your leaf removal. Call or text today at 479-719-5605.
That's a Cut Above, 719-5605.
Join ESPN Arkansas for the Champions for Children's Give-a-thon, presented by Lindbergh Real Estate Group, Colorworks Paint and Body, and River City Coatings, all month long, with a huge live push on Friday, February 27th. Last year, ESPN Arkansas listeners helped raise over $20,000 for Arkansas Children's Northwest. Every dollar stays local and helps kids and families right here in our community. Go to hitthatline.com, click the Give-a-thon link, and pick your favorite show and give. Let's rally and change lives together.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Hotline at 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive, serving drivers since 1946 and built on a tradition of trust.
Nothing you can say because it's done. Nothing you can say but you never play the game. It's easy. Nothing you can make but compliment.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
All right, back wrapping halftime up. Phil Elson had to get out of here a little early. Man, that was so awesome to hear Scotty talk a little bit. Love getting the chance to. I missed it this morning on the morning rush, so I got to hear it. Hope people that missed that got to listen to that today.
Probably one of the like if you say the name Scotty Thurman.
He's royalty.
Yeah,
he's
Everybody
Arkansas
knows
royalty.
his name.
You like to hear his words. Thanks to James Teague and Aaron Torres joining us today. Unit, want to ask you tomorrow, 3:00, Arkansas, Missouri. What's the key?
Man, I think the key is for Arkansas to probably give it to Darius Aiko.
Just go. What was the pitcher's name that just threw the no-hitter in the baseball season last year? Man, that was a good job. We both got that one, huh? But the story is the catcher was calling down the middle. He was just calling the simple play. It was just like up, down the middle.
Yeah. But when I think of Arkansas basketball, I think of just athleticism, and you're like you say, Matt, they're probably going to be a lot more athletic than Missouri, but
fatigue might be a factor.
Triple overtime game that might even things out a little bit. Missouri may have a little bit fresher legs than the Razorbacks, but player for player, even with two guys supposedly out, I still like I'll take Arkansas's starting five player for player over Missouri's.
Hopefully Seeley gets back. Prayers and wishes to Carter Knox. Hopefully his knee gets healed up, and wishing him the best, and want him back in a Razorback jersey next year. And have fun this weekend, man. Tell somebody you love them. Give somebody a hug. And Gage Wood, thank you. Gage Wood. Remember, it was just like we're throwing down the middle.
I don't know why I was thinking.
I thought you were the baseball guy, man.
MLB. I thought you meant MLB. Yeah, Gage Wood for sure.
Give him a hug if you see him as well. And we'll see you around.